Yo, welcome back for
Hey, what's happening?
another session. This is going to be a different session.
Yeah.
We're going to approach this totally different than we have before. But I'm excited about this because we're going to get a chance to, actually, it's going to be a class. It's going to be a class because there's a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to discover, a lot of insights to gain. And it's important because one of the things I discovered on this entrepreneurial journey is I couldn't bring my thinking forward. So the way I used to think growing up my whole life, the way I was raised my whole life, doesn't work no more. I'm sure you've experienced that as well.
Absolutely.
It's painful. And at some point, although everybody can see you, you're a ghost. Because the things you have to live by and the way you're calculating every step is often assumed by others, but unobservable by others.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance for us to have a full-out conversation, do some observations, hear some needs, align with those needs, and make sure that we have we move forward in a much richer with a much richer understanding. But before we get started, our brother passed away. Not my brother, Malcolm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean Malcolm Jamal Warner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "Your brother?"
know.
Yeah. I want to just first take a second to acknowledge
Yeah.
the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner. And then I want to give a special shout out this week to Tyler Perry. I send you guys a podcast, but that man, I don't think you guys understand what he's doing and the plight he's taking on and how he also holds the cultural flag of celebrating and driving the improvement of our culture. And you can disagree with a lot of stuff, but you cannot deny that man makes all kind of moves for black people. Did you know that he called Ryan Coogler after he finished Black Panthers 2 and told him how to structure the deal for sinners? And Ryan Coogler took that information and created one of the most unique structural deals we've ever seen. And he reached out to him on his own, not because he said sometimes he'll reach out to some people and they won't even pick up his phone call because they're in this egotistical, why is he calling me? Is he trying to compete with me? Is he trying to take something from me? But he said Ryan Coogler picked up the phone and he gave him all the insights on how to grow his position in the industry. Mm-hmm. This man has been trying to drive the black agenda. He's made some great movies recently. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to see some of his movies. They're going in different directions. The creativity, expanding the black storytelling. So I just want to say a special shout out to a serious pioneer of our age. Try to avoid some of the pettiness that we're engaging in when we see people online. We wrapped ourselves in this idea of perfectionism that nobody that can hear my voice has ever experienced. None of us are perfect, but yet we judge people with this level of imperfection. We hold people to standards that we don't even hold ourselves to. And if we do hold ourselves to our standards, we're probably depressed because we're really mean to ourselves. So I need us to just kind of like recognize greatness when it's showing up and realize that even when people are great, let me say this is going to be very important. And we got Pastor Chris in the house, so we're going to be turning to him for a couple of tapping on Pastor Chris. Like, hey, we're going to clean this up. But we got to start worshiping people. That's all people, white, black, heroes, performers. Just stop worshiping people. If you stop worshiping them, you can actually do business with them. It's when you worship them, it will actually turn life into an ugly experience for you. So you have to stop worshiping people. So like a lot of times we could see Tyler Perry doing amazing things, and let's say tomorrow he does something you don't like. Why are you worshiping him? Like, why are you worshiping him? Take the greatness he gave you and then keep it moving. Mm-hmm. Almost every name you see in a city were people who did amazing things and did some really foul stuff. Mm-hmm. Stop worshiping people. Anything you want to say before we get started?
Oh man, I'm excited. Excited for us to get started. Excited to see you guys, all you guys out there and engage in good conversation and good learning. I think the thing I want to mention is tapping in what you said earlier about the journey of entrepreneurship. I want us to get away from the red herring mentality and focus on, as we have this discussion today, I want us to stay focused on not the black swans, not the exceptions, but let's focus on the rules. So we are playing the probability game. So if you want to be successful in whatever you are, you have to extract data that gives you the highest probability of success. You are not the person. Don't think of your opportunities in entrepreneurship as being that 1 in a billion person. Think of what is the pool of people who've made this happen and what tools can I extract from them to be successful. Like I have a boss. I had a boss when I was in the working world, and I asked her, "Hey, what's your story? How'd you build this business?" And she said, true story. She said, "I had a dream one night, some lottery numbers. Woke up in the middle of my dream and I wrote them down. The next day I played the lottery. I didn't win the big, $100 million prize, but I won like the $900,000 prize.
Oh, shit.
So I took that money and I started my business. I can't replicate that.
No, I'm not.
But that's how some of us do. Well, what about that person who did? Man, that's that person. He in a league of their own. We playing the probability game. We're playing the Steph Curry game. Remember that. We're not playing the. I came out the womb 6'9", and I can close my eyes and make a basket naturally. None of us is gifted like that, or we wouldn't be here. So we play the Steph Curry game. Undersized, small, nobody checking for us. We got to shoot 1,000 shots a day from the age of 9 until, and guess what? We get looks now and we make it later on.
But Cuban in an NBA?
Yeah, let's stay away from the red. I want this discussion to stay away from the red herrings.
That's true. You Cuban. I ain't seen too many Cubans in the NBA, so it's like I'm Cuban, and if I make it to the NBA, I'm shit. Something happened. Anyway, couple of things. So tonight we're gonna start off with Kaja had shared some feedback, and she asked to share it with the class because we want to see if it's something that we all share or if it's just Kaja. And she wanted to have this conversation with the group. And then at the end of class, we got some deeper subjects we want to jump into. It's like 4 core subjects we want to jump into. But the feedback is worthy of a conversation because I've heard similar whispering. And I want to surface some of these conversations. Now, online, you're welcome to chime in, put your feedback in the chat box, and Shakina will, but we have a lot of alumni here. And Kaja was, at the moment, speaking from the tone of the alumni. So if somebody give a Kaja a microphone, because I want that to start off with some, oh, you got a microphone? Good. So Kaja, first couple of things, she has one. There you go. So before we get started, I want to ask a couple of questions so we can get context. Because reading content when in context, there's 2 things. As we go through it, I want you to reinforce the context because sometimes when you write something and how it translates can be 2 different things. Uh-huh. But I also want to get big picture context, right? Mm-hmm. So first thing is first, what made you do this?
I've been here now. I think this is like going into the 5th year. Mm-hmm. So I definitely feel served by being here. I have mentioned hope and leveraged hope in any place I had a platform, was interviewed, et cetera, because I think it's very important for people to know that the things they see me doing, a lot of it is as a result of things I learned in this space directly, right? But I do think after being here for a couple of years, there were just some gaps. And I didn't know if it was just me feeling like it was a gap, if it was a shared sentiment. I definitely think intentions are all in the right place. But I think just as you do things over a period of time and things shift and evolve, there are gaps. And I wanted us to just be able to talk about them. Let me just preface this by saying it definitely was not, and it's important to me to say, it's not a know-it-all. Let me prepare a dossier to tell you your business. I'm halfway jobless. I don't have the answers for nothing. But I think it's good for us to have the collective conversation.
Okay, and when you say gaps, like what was the impact of those gaps?
I think one of the things, I don't know this for a fact, but one of the things that I think is an impact of the gaps is it don't be a lot of people in the room or online a lot of times in thinking, where is everybody? Because I see these people out and about in the community, so they're here. So how come they're no longer here? Or online, sometimes I've been online a lot recently, I don't even see them there. So it's like it's starting to, I don't want to say fall off, but like people are dissipating. And there's a reason for that. I don't know exactly what that is, but maybe we can uncover that together.
Okay. And we'll get into that in a second. And then I think my last question before we start priming this moment is, what do you think the role of hope is?
I think hope has a few roles. I think hope is there to encourage people's critical thinking. I think hope is there to help people adapt their thinking from what they would do in a personal situation versus a business situation, or why those two things may not be different in some scenarios. I definitely think hope is there to create a sense of community. And I think hope is there to increase the reflection of Black people successfully in entrepreneurship in Oakland and beyond.
Okay. Let's create some transparency. Then we jump right into it. Court, guess how much I made last year from Hope?
How much you made? How much?
Nothing. Fully giving. It's important before we get into this. 2, we currently have about $130,000 in the bank for Hope. Pay the team, right? I pay everybody a little stipend. No, I ain't paying y'all like Josh can't get his hair cut. He cuts it himself, obviously. But the point is, I'm not paying everybody. So, oh yeah, we got jokes tonight, baby. So don't you have a microphone? Shut up. I want to be very clear. 3, help me understand, are we in competition? Just help me, anybody in the class, students, if we're in competition, tell me what the competition is. Why is that important? You know why it's important? Because what I tell y'all from the beginning, if somebody does this better, guess what I'm about to do? I'm out. I'm 100% out, right? I'm doing this because there's a gap that's missing, and I'm giving back my time to try to fill that gap. It's important. So as we get into this, there'll be certain times y'all may be like, damn, that's a weird response, but I'm not in competition. I'm not making a profit. I'm not getting paid. I don't even want to stay around for long. If you can show me a better program like this, I'm only filling this space because I see so much bullshit thrown at people about business. And most of the people who teach entrepreneurship are wolves in sheep clothing. I mean, like a lot of professors at colleges never ran a business before. A lot of people that are in these spaces, they are self-help experts, meaning they copy and paste the last self-help person who got a lot of applauses, but they don't look at who's performing. So I think the rest of everything else I want to address, and then what I also want to hear is going to jump into the process. So let's get to the first slide. All right, Shakina, you ready for this one?
Sure.
Yeah. Some of y'all smell hella good. I don't know what the hell y'all wearing, but this shit smell hella good. Anyway.
It's my musk.
Yeah, oh yeah. Somebody smell like it's just a smooth smelling smell up here. I'm like, damn, did y'all put some incense up here? What the hell? But anyway, go ahead.
What? Okay, y'all. How y'all doing? All right. What's going well?
And by the way,
So this is from
Kaja wrote a poem.
Yeah.
A complete piece. Yeah, right. And here's the thing.
this is Kaja's writing.
This is
that you're
Kaja's
about
writing.
to read.
And so as we go through this, and then Kaja, if there's anything you want to give context to, also anybody in the class, if you guys want to speak into something that you like, y'all want to elaborate or want to get into this part, or I disagree, or anything like this, this is going to be this is a round table. This is not about not going to just keep directing the conversation. I just want to give some context as we move into this. Go ahead.
And before I read for everybody that's online, give me a moment because I got to read comments and read slides.
Okay.
Cool.
With no glasses.
With no glasses because I am blind,
So
y'all.
she gonna be saying all kind of wrong words.
I be trying.
Yeah.
I just worked 12 hours. All right. What's going well, y'all? All right. Camaraderie among Hopers inside and outside of class. Folks are working together to support each other's businesses and initiatives. Desires to show up well. People care about how they're perceived in the Hope community. Hopers are out in the broader community in the Bay and beyond doing work that's being noticed. Significant trust in facilitators that they have the very best interest of Hopers in mind. People love what you teach and have brought to the space. Varied teaching methods. Court's heart-centered style versus Nana's more spirited approach means there's broader appeal to different kinds of people.
All right. Any comments? Any context? I mean, that's I don't want to sit around and tell me more great stuff about it. So that sounds so corny. Go ahead, Josh. I'll get Josh a microphone. And Josh, because your microphone, watch yourself. Otherwise, cut his microphone off.
And spray that microphone.
Lysol.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tested negative twice.
Okay, that's what she said.
For what?
Anyway, go ahead.
In all seriousness, when you ask us this question, are you looking for us to add to that or give her feedback on how she got the answers?
Not sure if I really do. If you have any questions or comments, I'm not sure if I really want to try to control that much. So if you have anything to say, just go ahead and say it.
My question is how did you come up with this data?
I don't consider this to be data. I consider it to be observations, insights.
Isn't that data?
Okay. The reason that's a legitimate question though, because there is a degree. It's called the what's the effect of that? It's when you're reading what other people are thinking, and there's a little bit of that implied. So the question is legitimate, like where you got the data from. So if you start saying Hopers are, that means you're reading their. Yeah, your mind reading. I forgot it was. Yeah. It's a phrase for that. But yeah, it's like. Yeah. Go ahead, Tone. Go ahead, grab the microphone.
Kind of a but. Would it have been different if it said what's going well to me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Once you start saying others and others and others and others and keep applying others, then you're mind reading and you really don't know. And then also too, you're projecting more than you're. Unless she just went into hardcore insight research. So then when Josh says, what data do you have? She was like, oh, well, I did this. I did these kind of focus groups, but without that being implied, that is hard to. So in the end, it's nice, but I think that the question kind of primes the discussion. So then it should open up for us to give our own opinion as opposed to kind of just all of us somehow flowing into the conversation. I want us to be able to speak for that. All right.
Can we ask that? What's
Yeah.
going well for you?
So
What's going well for you? What's going well for you?
I actually thought that's what it was gonna be. Like
No, you can. Go ahead, take it.
Based
Do it.
off the two class. Remember when we talked about the feedback session? It was like we're gonna have feedback and challenges,
I was
whatever.
gonna tap
about
into some of the
our,
negatives, but
not necessarily
right.
data. Like I agree with you.
Yeah.
It was more like what's
Going well for you.
how we feel. Like you want to
Yeah.
hear the feedback based on us.
Yeah.
Not generally speaking. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just want to make that. No, I just want to get that clear.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
clarification.
I thought you was gonna give us
That's-
feedback.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna give feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So what's going well for you, Tom?
Oh no, I want to first. I talk a lot, so I want to first make space before I take space.
You don't talk that much. Okay, just thought we just have a moment to ourselves.
He said, I want to first make space before I take space. That's some pimp shit. That's some pimp shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Look, he just.
That's bar number 2, ain't it?
Yeah, what I do, I just want to make some. Go ahead.
Man. For me, I'll say what's going well is it challenges me. You know, I've been in Hope for maybe like 4 years, maybe. And every year I show up, even if it's like around the same topics, it resonates different because I'm at a different space in my life. So I don't feel that it ever gets old to me. And I'm behind court, so I'm practicing certain tools every day. So in the community too. So a lot of it's going well for me.
Anybody else before we move into some challenges?
Well,
Go ahead.
I have only been around you guys in the class for a year and a half. It's my second year, y'all. But I'll absolutely say this. Since I joined, it has been life-changing for me. And I do know others that have came to this class, and I've seen their life change. So it's like an individual thing for me because it has made me look at life in so many different aspects, in so many different ways. It just have blown my mind, even how I communicate, how I talk to people, how I handle my emotions. Every class has a different tweak for me. And then just not the class alone. You have these men up here who pour into us for free. And it's not like it stops with the class. It's beyond the class where they're feeding into you and reaching out and making sure that we have the proper tools to communicate. And you don't get that often. So this is a very enriching. Hope should be so packed where you can't even get in, and he's outside on a podium talking to us because of what it gives you. But then again, you got to look at it. Everybody's not ready to be woke. My sister has been trying to get me to get to this class for 2 years before I came, and you have to be ready because it's peeling the onion, and it's ugly when you start peeling the onion of your life. So hope helps you see the good, the bad, and the ugly and to align it in your business. When I came to Hope, I had a business, and I thought it was flourishing. Oh, yeah, this is what I do. And when I got in this class, I was like, okay, let's shut down. Let's start over. Everything is, my sister was like, but you're doing good. I said, everything's whack, because it showed me. Seriously, I was just like, excuse my French, bullshit. I'm not. Oh God, is kids still in here?
Yeah, the kids. It's
I'm
okay.
so oh, and the pastor,
I'm gonna hold back to him. I'm gonna hold back. Yeah.
oh, he taking note. Pastor taking note.
So
Just
I'm
put
so
some money in the tip jar.
I got
Pay your ties. Pay your ties.
Give me some communion. But I'm just keeping it real, like, and I'm sorry I said that, but it's such a beautiful thing that this class has offered, and it hurts to see that a lot of my people are not here, even in my family are not here. I started this journey, as y'all remember, with my sister, who no longer comes. She don't go online. If I'm not here, trust me, you're gonna see me pop in online, and I'm gonna leave a comment so you know I'm there. But seriously, I pop in online because it helps my life, so it's dramatic. So we can't worry about anybody else. Let them, let us. You know what I'm saying? Let them, let me. That's how I look at it. I love y'all.
Online. So you want me to read some of this stuff online?
Yeah, I wait.
Go ahead.
So please forgive me if I say this wrong. Obatala
Oh yeah, that's our family.
said, I definitely miss being there in person. For me, the way the information moves me to action and what makes it special. When I learn something at Hope, I always am trying to adjust my life and thinking to hold that new reality. The moves I am making out here are unprecedented for me. My mom and daughter and mother can't believe how I move with such accountability, focus, and consistency. Tavita said,
Wait, Awatala, I need that phone call, blood. I need to know what's going on with them breakfast burritos we talked about last week. How you doing with
Hey.
them breakfast burritos?
By the way,
I know.
that brother has one of the most beautiful hearts you will ever meet. And to see him come online when before he left, it was the reinvention of a powerful man. Go
Sure
ahead.
was.
Tavita said, I love Hope. It's the only place that I can get this level of accountability. Sydney said, I can say Hope for me has directly helped my bank account, honestly. From negotiation gems, how to approach a problem, etc. The principles have been resonating. And then Twana said, I've been a Hoper for some years, and it makes me look at myself and business. I'm trying to manifest and put what you guys teach me into practice. I'm sorry, there's a whole bunch of comments rolling in. Daphne said, my thinking has changed tremendously in every area of my life. My perspective of my business has improved so much. And the last one, Marquita said, what's going, oh gosh, there's so many. Sorry. It's live in the chat tonight, y'all. What's going well for me? 1, the trusted advisors teaching the class. As Nana said, there are a lot of folks that shouldn't be speaking that are loud and wrong. 2, the amount of info and gems given would cost thousands outside of this space. 3, it's being a local community and not an online program of people thing I can actually touch and build with.
All right, go ahead, Tony. I'll let you close out this section.
I think what's going well for me is
Okay, one more. Okay. No, you're done. Go ahead.
the constant strengthening of who I am and who I'm not. And, I've been with you guys, been with Nana since Mother's Cookies days,
Yeah.
It's been over a decade.
Yeah.
And I think, it's like being a physical testimony or a testament to the progression that you've seen. And I think for me, that's what's been going very well with me through Hope. I mean, strengthening my entrepreneurial acumen of what I thought I knew and what I didn't, what I don't, toughening my skin, definitely changing my bank account. I don't know. I think that the biggest thing really, I could say a long laundry list of things, but I think the biggest thing has been the strengthening of who I am and who I'm not. Because before I thought I was one person, and what's the phrase you always say? Like, you got to master reality.
In order to master reality,
you got to stop practicing make believe.
That's an old.
And that's something that just it sticks with me.
Oh, when I ain't said it in years.
And not to keep trying to sell hope, but I think to me that's been one of the biggest. Like, and I remember Cord used to do this to me all the time. We used to go to lunch, and he'd make a joke. You guys have always heard it, but it stuck with me because it did make sense. He'd be like, "Tone, you always leaving." We'll have lunch. He'll say something tough to me, and I'll be like, all right, Cord, we can get the bill real quick. Let me hit you later on. And it would be a joke, but it made me realize, like, okay, I got to learn how to have not just difficult conversations, but when I disagree, don't just run. And I think over the years, you guys have seen that. And not to be too egotistical, but I'm proud of that. So I think that's what's been going well with me and Hope. You know what I'm saying? It's just been helping to strengthen my family, my mentality, my business, my friendships. And it also allows me to kind of start sifting through some of the bullshit. Sorry, Pastor. And I think I needed that. So that's what's been going well.
So I just want to say, as someone who's going on their 3rd month, so I don't have too much feedback, but what I will say is, as I'm actively trying to change my life and kind of like one foot in, one foot out between 2 different worlds, it feels like this class serves as an anchor and a constant reminder. And so, yeah, I'm just appreciative of that, and I'm looking forward to see how much more I grow. But everything has been great so far.
I know, right now.
I think what's been going well is it's been given. I feel like Hope has created this almost a culture amongst itself. You know what I'm saying, and a shared language for those who have been participating. I also have been since the Mother Cookies days, and just the givens that happen right now between Tone and I is like the level of service that we provide to our clients, like we don't even have to, that's not even something we have to think about anymore. It's like, oh yeah, it's a given that we are here to show up for the clients and to go above and beyond, Besides that, I think, I agree with other folks, like it's helped me with every part of my parenting, how I deal with challenges, and just how I move, period. So yeah, I think that's, and I feel like I haven't been in class as much, but I look at the recordings consistently, so when I'm in the gym or on my drives or whatever, I'm constantly listening to class. And I think that's keeping up with that has been, super important.
Can I tap
Go
in?
ahead. Yeah.
There's one more on here from Sean, and then I'd like to add, if that's possible.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sean said, every class surfaces countless blind spots plus opportunities to sharpen leadership, and it compounds within the community. The fierce commitment Nana and Court is hard to put into words. What they share is only matched by their example, what they do and how they show up outside of class. They walk the walk. Their encouragement and compassion to meet all where we are at while continuously elevating the game is unmatched. Wow. And then for me, OG Mother's Cookies, woo woo. Yeah, man. I'm out here in that thing.
You was before her, Tom.
We came at the same time.
Same time. Okay. I thought those too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He just don't remember because me and you had an argument about hip hop way before I met her. Yeah.
So, for me, in the simplest form, Hope has created two core things for me that are irreplaceable. It has been my community builder. So many people in this class right now, online, I have had the honor of sharing Hope with. I think that it is hilarious that people be like, yo, Shakina, you tight. I'll be like, yo, it ain't me, y'all. It's this class. Y'all better come through because I ain't special. I'm just diligent. But Hope has really allowed me to sharpen iron. It's like my entrepreneur gym. No matter what I'm doing in my life, I have a constant feedback loop to test where I'm actually at. And that, as an entrepreneur in a world that is constantly changing, is irreplaceable. And to have a community that ain't afraid to call BS on me because I'm a little intimidating, they be like, nah, Shakina, you tripping, right? Like, thankfully, Nana say, you can't beat me, so I can't. So, I got to just sit down and take it. But, don't pause me. But it really has just been a place to force myself to get stronger and to see blind spots and be able to challenge them and to have been able to grow way beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm nowhere near where I want to get to. And to have people that are starting, that are OGs and that are just coming on, and everybody be hecka humble and be like, yo, I want to do this. I'm going to be vulnerable. How do I do that? Like, I've never been anywhere authentically where people show up like that. It's always posturing and posing and people trying to do big things and they bank accounts at zero, and the bank account does matter. So for all y'all that say it don't, it does. So that has just been a really humbling, grounding thing for me. I love Hope.
I got one more thing to say too. I think I know, speaking for myself, I don't talk about, or I think we don't talk about the trickle down effect as much. As I shared this with Court one day, is I got an 8-year-old next to me who came to me one day, and when they're on their iPads when they come to class sometimes, or I'm playing class at home while I'm cooking or doing dishes, you never know what the next generation is listening to. And I'm having a conversation, it might have been about some corn chips or something, and he's like, you know what, Dad, this tastes good, but it's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? And he's breaking down the different quadrants of like that Court broke down before. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, so, I think that's dope. Like that goes back to that shared language of like, the trickle down and the
Wow.
culture is being spread amongst even my kids. So
That's why you a beast, brother. That's why you a beast, little man.
I'll keep it short, but there's a lot of conversation about how people have grown from hope, but I also want to say the vulnerability and the model of growth that you two gentlemen have provided just by example of being the men that you are and how you show up every day to the community, I think also speaks magnitude, not just the words and the lessons and the research that you do, but the fact that you're available to be vulnerable with your lives, share your time, and show your growth. Like I've known you, Nana, for over a decade. I can hands down say you are a changed man. Corey, we don't spend as much time together, but it's been dope to see your growth as well. So I just want to highlight, like, people, the second order effect of people growing in this class, I think, is directly tied to you guys' willingness to grow, even in this conversation.
Oh, Tennille. Oh, no. Hey, Tennille. Hey, remember, don't be starting no shit.
She going.
I'm gonna save it for the next slide. No, in all honesty, for me, this has been like, you ever been audited by the IRS? Okay,
Yeah.
well, for me, this is like my personal internal review service, right? It's, you come here and you have to put, well, I guess you don't have to. I choose to, even though I don't say much, I listen. And I get the added bonus of being able to work with Nana and his company. So I do get some additional access to him. But for me, it has really been that auditing space for me. Like, what stories am I telling myself? What limitations did I put in place? How am I seeing myself in comparison to how others see me, right? Because you can show up one way and people see you a certain way, but you don't see that about yourself. So this has really been a space of just audit for me and taking the information and what I see you guys model and really checking myself. Because like somebody that's been audited by the IRS, you could say you weren't spending that, or you can say you had this write-off, but they're going to check line by line. And for me, that's what this class has been. It's been accountability, like really around stories, you know, because I had a lot of, I might not show it, but I came from a lot of trauma and I had a lot of stories and a lot to prove. Not necessarily to people, although Nana did tell me I do that in earlier conversations, but to myself, right? I'm not going to be like my family was. I'm not going to be like that example. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be so far away from what they showed me coming up that, you know, I got something to prove to me and maybe to others, to his, you know. But anyways, for me, yeah, that's what it's been. It's been a very authentic, in your face, not mean, but at times the slap in the face that you need, because I feel like people are looking to be coddled, and that's not what you need. Being coddled is what kept me locked into the stories that I was telling myself and really limiting me, right? I got comfortable in my job. Before I started working for him, I reached the peak. I couldn't go no further, but I was cool. I was telling myself the story. I'm making more money than anybody else in my family made. I don't need to push myself. And then lo and behold, the stars aligned and the Lord did what he did, and I made my way to 5'10", and it was like, nope, you know? So anyways, ultimately all of that to say thank you to the two of you, because it's really been life-changing.
Thank you. Come on. Wait, can I get theme music? My theme music.
We don't need any theme
before
music.
Fern speak.
We don't need any theme music.
Okay, Fern's about to speak. Go ahead, John.
Wow. Show you right.
See how she started off?
What's going well, what I really, what I enjoy, and I dig into a lot of the books of the books. So like when we finish a book, some of the recommended reading after. And what's going well is how such complex information is broken down into very digestible pieces, and how those pieces continue to evolve based on what's going on in the world or what you two have encountered between last time teaching it and this time teaching it, and really kind of double tapping on what Scott said as far as your growth, because I knew both of you before Hope, albeit a bit, brief with you, Court, but still having that.
Hey, when players meet.
But having that view of who you guys were then and the evolution now, it speaks to the continued evolution of the folks in the room and the businesses that they have. And then personal, for me, what's going well is just it's a long road, right? It's not I realize that I have been very much like make shit happen, like watch it quick, and it slowed down my the expectation of quick hits, and understand that it's a slow road. And I was able to have a beautiful insight, just like, what was that, like last week, where things just continue to unfold, and I realized that this is not a destination type thing. And so the journey has just become, it's going better than well. It's beautiful, because even in the valleys of, when bank accounts ain't always looking great, that there's peaks and valleys. And so seeing through that and knowing that there's a viable product and there's value to it, and being able to have a lattice framework to say, okay, you're going through the process, you're refining the process, and it's continuing to come out with results and learnings. And so it's just, it's a beautiful journey, and it's a blessing to be in a space with so many Black folks with a common goal and a common language and a common love for community.
That's fire. That's fire.
Pastor Chris behind you. Oh. Oh, go ahead. I don't hear nothing.
Sorry. You just said call you. Oh, there we go.
Thank you for calling over. I will return your message.
We tried to call you, man. You said call. Oh, he said he put in his okay, FaceTime in 10 minutes.
Pastor Chris.
Pastor Chris behind you,
I was just reflecting. I'm really scared to think what my life would be without Hope. I'm really, like, a lot of the critical moments, there's a way that Hope is able to speak to me on a personal level, dark side conversations, and just even today in the intro about being empathetic and where judgmental comes in. And there's so many stories. Like, I refused to quit my job despite being prodded by the instructors to do so for many years. And it wasn't until the pandemic came where it switched us from like panic mode to pivot mode. And I'm thinking about where there is no solution, we'll find one. My style of parenting is way different. It's way more cerebral. And I grew up with like, go get the belt, go get the switch.
We all did.
So it's just so that, and then it's like this constant source of challenging and congratulations at the same time. I remember we gave like to some hospital workers during the pandemic, and I'm over here popping my collar, and Nana was like, that's dope. How come you didn't give to the Black hospital? I was like, dang. It was tripping. I was like, but some people from the church. She was like, all right, just make sure. Emotional agility. There were some deals that were on the table for us to get like a permanent space for our church. And I called Court and Nana. I was like, this is it. And I was like trying to prime, anchor, frame. I was trying to do everything to get them to say yes. And I was like, this is it. So when do y'all think I should sign? And how do you think and then Nana, bruh, if that deal is that good, I'll go buy it myself. Court, this is swag, bro. They gaming you, bro. And like my balloon went, and And come to find out, everything they said was accurate. I got to be weak in front of them so I could be strong in the negotiation. And so that was a really good vibe where I literally sat at the table and they were like, can we negotiate? I was like, I don't think there's anything to negotiate. Furthermore, the deal is unscrupulous. And my lawyer said, so like, but they didn't know how juiced I was initially, but I came back in the meeting real strong. Long story short, this year we were able to get the right deal and purchase the building for our church. And
Yes,
so none of those things, I think happened. I remember what you said like 2 weeks ago, Court, as it pertains to Bible and scripture. Like you don't finish it and put it on the shelf. Y'all don't even have to show up. You could press play on any of the years, and I promise you that information will hit different for me today because I'm doing something different today than I was doing back then when I heard it initially. And I think we have to make sure we make the distinction between acquisition of knowledge versus application of wisdom. And so for me, that application piece is where I'm getting fulfilled. So if the viewers go down, if nobody comes, that means absolutely nothing to me. What means to me is am I putting myself in a position to be able to actually try and test the stuff that I'm acquiring with knowledge.
Amen.
Yo, thank you. That was I feel like somebody hit me with an emotional hit. Like,
I know.
Like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. Yo, appreciate that. I love y'all. Appreciate it. That hit me. Yeah. I ain't gonna catch me slipping. You know what I'm saying? You seen Beasley? We talking about when he was homeless?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, so when you got ready to cry, you like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the flex like, I was homeless.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm not gonna cry on y'all. All right, let's do this. Next slide. All right, so we're gonna get into some of the challenges that she wanted to highlight. Let's just do one at a time, and we're gonna give each one no more than 10 minutes maximum, so we can flow into it. Because I think if we could take one and just be the whole class, that's gonna be a problem. But before we'll read it, and then let Kaj, if she wants to give some context real quick, and then we'll jump into it. Right. So the first one.
Waning in-person attendance suggests disengagement. Are we attempting to collect attrition feedback?
Okay. Well, give us context and I'll answer that question first.
It's just was a wonder what it is. It might be something, it might be nothing, it could be a confluence of things, but I've just wondered if we ever canvassed the room to understand where people went and why.
So let me be very clear, and this is going to sound kind of harsh, but y'all know me. I have to say what I got to say. I only talk to the strongest students. You know why? So I don't know if y'all grew up in the black community, right? And y'all hear about all those millions and billions of dollars coming to our community, and they give them to the weakest people, and then you struggle to go to college, meaning that you underinvest in those who can change our community and overinvest in the stories that have the most power to them. So what I do is I look at the condition of your business, how you're performing, and even to your mission, I sat down with you at dinner for 2 hours, right? So when I see people performing at a certain level, you'll get time with me. If you're not performing and I don't see numbers, I don't care about what you're talking about, how much you paint your business, if I don't see performance. Now, with that being said, I check in every week with performers. Every week. I get texts from every week. I ask questions every week. I check in and see, I look for challenges, I look for ideas. I look for distortions. I look for everything. So yeah, we actually do that every week. And I don't, because when you're teaching, let me paint a picture that's very clear. Get in your car, drive from here to New York, where's the black high rises? Black businesses are not thriving, otherwise we wouldn't be in the black community, wouldn't be in this condition it is today. We like the Indian community or the Asian, Chinese community, right? So our starvation in multiple communities come with a lot of challenges that's tied to historical trauma, which is rooted in slavery, Jim Crow, and the crack era. So a lot of times I'm checking in not only for how is the class perceived, but I'm also, is it cutting through the trauma? Is it cutting through the trauma? And that trauma is so real for our community because not only do we have historical trauma, we have reproduced trauma from bad thinking practices. So when you say the world sucks, you're producing your own trauma. This is unfair. You're producing your own trauma. They don't like me. You don't even know they like you. It doesn't even matter. Even if they don't like you, you got 350 million people on this land. Why are you worried about this 2 or 3 people who don't like you, right? Remember I told the old story a long time of if me and Course talking, a white guy walked by, he says, what you N-words doing? And we get upset, and that white dude happens to be homeless. Who really has the problem? And so we are reproducing some of our trauma from the way we're framing the world that's around us, or we're tunneling so we can't see all the options and all the plays. So often one of my challenges is how do I cut through that trauma and talk to my people to produce activity and performance? Now, what that looks like in different people, because when you move in people, it's not linear. So somebody may change the way they interact with their loved ones. Someone may make just a few more dollars. Some are going to take off and run like a beast. And some are going to just still be stuck in a guilt trap or a shame trap. I know I should. I know I should. I know I should. And then there's others who have a distortion trap. I say hi and they hear goodbye. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to talk to you. And this happens, I'm lying, this happens more than a little bit because people try to read into what I say and never ask me what I meant. So they say, oh, I feel like you were judging me. Did you ever ask me what I was judging you? Did you, what was my incentive for judging you? What was my reward? Because I think if I was judging you, you should see me living fat. But I don't know why I would be judging you, right? But people turn these conversations into things like one of the persons that was here in the beginning who left the class got upset because I said, hey, you got to think about repositioning your business. And here's some areas that's when we hear in your numbers. And here's some opportunities for you of how you should approach it. And it turned into, you're sexist. I'm not lying to you. Somebody called me one time and said, hey, can you talk to me and this multi-million-dollar client? And because I want you to talk to them, thinking that they was going to use me as the wolf that's going to attack their multi-million-dollar client. And as they started to share the story, I told them, no, the multi-million-dollar client is correct. You're wrong. Oh, guess what they told me again? You're chauvinistic. How did I give you, like, I just say, look, you're too curvy. like, you know, you're too cute, girl. You gotta give them something what they want if you're gonna do business. Like, no, I said they're right about their implications. So I think this is kind of more direct. Anything you want to say on this one?
Yeah. I don't expect there to be tons of people in an entrepreneurship class. I don't. And here's why. You can popularize a lot of things. When hip hop first came, it was hardcore in the hood. Now there's a rap song for every food sold on every commercial because it got popped, it got commercialized. You know, when yoga and meditation first came in, you know, and veganism, it was kind of together. You know, most vegans were in shape. They were skinny because the food was nasty as fuck. Oops, the food was nasty. Food was nasty and it didn't taste good and there wasn't a lot of options. So you had to have a high level of discipline and commitment to be a part of that lifestyle, vegan, meditation, yoga. But then hip hop yoga came out, naked yoga, this kind of yoga. They start softening up all the stuff so that more people jumped in and to where you couldn't even see the real stuff no more. Now, I used to, the last parts of me being vegan, I would walk into a vegan restaurant and everybody in there huge because it got commercialized and popularized and the discipline aspect is gone. So doing this for 5 years, I've come across a lot of people who are saying, Court, popularize and commercialize this for me because that's how I'll get it. And I'm like, hell no, because you won't last a day as an entrepreneur if I do that. So I got to give it to you real and raw. This is how it's going to be.
Don't you dare.
Don't
Let
you
it go.
dare.
Let it go. Because I saw the figure. He was going, But anyway, go ahead.
I got to give it to you real. You know what I'm saying? I got to give it to you real and unfiltered so that you don't be confused when you out there in the middle of the war or in the middle of battle and you start getting shot at by real bullets and you like, well, they never told me that class was whack. So no, entrepreneurship in its purest form is inherent full of challenges and difficulty that you have to figure out and overcome mentally. And if you can't get past the mental aspect of it, then you ain't gonna make it. It's not for you. If you don't want to give up your ego, it's not for you. If you don't want to serve, it's not for you. If you don't got enough discipline to clear your space and create the space for you to execute, it's not for you. And there's other options out there for you. Like he was mentioning before, you could take this class and be a killer at your job. Because you will look like a wolf amongst dogs. So it's great for people who have jobs and who could be a killer at their jobs. But the core of it, but don't ask us to soften it. Don't ask us to be nice. Don't ask us to, because what we'll be doing is lying, and we don't get paid to do this. I don't get paid to do this. So I come here to try to give everything I have so that somebody could use something to say, ooh, I just changed, I just improved, I just added value to the aspect of my life. We use these tools every day to make, expand, recover our businesses. So it ain't no bullshit here. So then we sit down and be like, whew, all right, aside from stuff from a book, what things that I learned this week in business that I can share that could possibly save you guys some heartache?
Real quick, let me add just another too. So let me get deeper about it. Prospect theory. You remember I taught that recently? You might remember that? Strange. You don't remember that. Have you remember the last time I taught prospect theory? Anybody remember the last time I taught prospect theory?
No.
I taught it last week. Ain't that some shit?
No.
So prospect theory, I introduced prospect theory last week. And in prospect theory, it highlights how when the mind is faced with risk, it becomes very emotional, but it rationalizes its response as if the decision making was rational, but it was emotional response. And I also highlighted that when you're in business, pay attention to your emotional side, because that's the part that runs your business, not your rational side, because it's facing risk, and it's risk wins and losses, right? The brain also, watch where I'm going with this, the brain also will often focus on wins and losses over outcomes, which I introduced that. I'm gonna start picking up where I left off. That's where I left off at. And I also said last week, don't trust, most media will suck for you if you become an entrepreneur, because it's designed to speak to your emotional brain, not your rational brain. It's hard to find any show on television that's designed to speak to your rational brain. Meaning, let me re-engineer this thought for you. If I want to blow this fucking class up, I go straight emotional with no results. Mm-hmm. I hit you every day. Mm-hmm. You'll be so emotionally charged up. You'll be like, man, I'm pumped. I'm hyped up. Mm-hmm. When I look at your bank accounts feel like you're depressed. Mm-hmm. And so the reality is that teaching entrepreneurs, because I'm teaching a different paradigm. So your comparisons should start with a question, because why? I'm shifting paradigms. And the way we have to think, I cannot embrace motivational, emotional, excitement-based teaching, because what I had to do in business. So you guys, Tone, Shakina, Scott have said, where's the old Nana? I've heard that before. Because my emotions had aligned with my decision making. That's what you said. That's what you guys witnessed. It wasn't me calming down. It wasn't because I was trying to be nicer. It wasn't because, I'm more empathetic. It was, I'm making worse decisions because when I'm feeling uncomfortable, that part of my brain unknowingly to me, not knowingly, unknowingly to me, I'm making too many decisions that are tied to my emotional responses. So I have to develop emotional intelligence. So when I'm making everyday simple, like if the IRS call you right now, you are no longer rational, because you know what it means. If a check bounces or a client says, I'm thinking about going somewhere else, you are no longer rational. If you get a report that you made a big mistake, you are no longer rational. And so you got to know how to manage that space. So if I teach you with this emotional undertone, I'm actually underserving you. And then no longer am I serving the black community. I'm really serving myself, which means I'm popular. I make money. We doing good. Y'all ain't, but we doing good. What was that program that came into to all the communities? That was a famous self-help everybody joined it one year. It was No, because it was right after Herbalife.
That was Shakina's ex.
It was right after Herbalife. It was this program where you join it for self-help and business and motivational purposes, and hell of people joined it, and all those people was talking. It was so exciting. I remember. I'll start with an L.
Make America Great Again.
Landmark. That's what Landmark did. Landmark went purely. If you talk to people who were part of Landmark, they were hyped up. They was pumped up. They thought things were gonna change. Go check their paychecks. Look at the bank account. Another false movement that came through our community that was on motions. This last George Floyd movement of all the money it was given out to our community. Ask Shabisha the rate of failure. It's over 97%.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yo, I'm going to add something to that, too, is that I was watching this documentary on YouTube about jiu-jitsu. And, you know, the rise in popularity of jiu-jitsu, right? Mm-hmm. 10 years ago, jiu-jitsu was rare, but powerful but rare. To meet somebody and they were doing it. Now it's gotten so popular. This one jiu-jitsu teacher was saying, because there's belts, right? It starts at the white belt, and purple belt is almost at the end, and black belts, like brown and purple and black. So he says, nowadays, I get purple belts from other gyms that come into me and say, I want to start over. Because they were in such a popcorn gym that they end up going all the way to purple belt and not being able to beat a white belt in a real gym. And that's because the popularity of something. Give me something, give me some new shit, or that's not fun enough, or I don't like that teacher. Give me that one. All of that. And if you listen to that noise too much, then you try to appease the crowd, then you end up softening up the whole purpose of the thing. And so now a purple belt walks out in the crowd thinking he could beat up everybody and get his ass whooped like that dude at my dad's restaurant.
All right, any feedback on that one before we go to the next one? I think Tone is queued up. Go ahead.
So, feedback.
Just the first one. Just the first one.
Just the first one?
Yeah.
So, everything you guys said was amazing. I just feel like maybe we didn't actually answer the question directly, because Kaj and I have actually talked about this before, and hearing what you had first said when you first answered the question, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I think if we don't have to know the inner workings of how businesses run for the class, but like, I think if you're in class for a long time and then you start seeing the numbers dwindle, as a participant, you might ask yourself like, man, why is nobody here? Or why are people not coming anymore, or what's going on? So that is like, it just comes to our attention of like, should we start asking people like, do you prefer to come in class in person? Do you like it on the line more? It's almost just like it's just an observation thing.
Let me ask you, why come you don't come to class more?
Well, a lot of times I don't come to class because I get tired and I don't want to sit here for like 4 hours. I be wanting to come to class, but some days I'll be like, man, I'm hella tired. I'm gonna watch it online and I'm gonna go to bed extremely early, and that's what I do. I've been trying to make it a point to start coming more, but without giving too much information, I've just been extremely tired. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to your statement.
Okay.
Another aspect is that it has nothing to do with the class that people aren't attending like they normally do, because they're actually attending at the rates they always have. In January, when the year starts, we have New Year's resolutions and something new, so you're going to pack out the class. And when it warms up, they want to go outside and spend time doing other things or getting involved in other social circles, so it dwindles. And then in the winter, it picks up again because people are looking for something to do, and it's cold outside, and this is a social place to go. The exact same thing happens with the church that we do live streams for, and for Pastor Chris, that once summer hits, people are out doing their thing. But Easter is that big prime moment. Then when winter hits, families are coming back home and you get more holidays. It's actually a cycle that's dictated by the weather and our culture, not the class itself.
Psychology.
Also, there's another layer to it too. Is that Tone? A couple things. One is that when I'm out in the community, there's so many people, ghost students. I just got a cat for Tel Aviv. Jewish cat for Tel Aviv said he wanted to thank me because there's a Jewish tradition where they're supposed to learn for, I think, 7 years, Josh, right? 7 years. They're supposed to learn every day. And he had never been doing it until he sat down with me, and I was like, no, I practice every day. And he was like, wow, it's changed my life. And he's somebody who's pretty big in business. And he's be flying out here. We're going to have a big meeting about some collaborations. But he's in Jerusalem. I had a white woman from Stanford meet Shabisha at a big event who's a major investor. And she's like, yo, she loves Hope. And Shabisha said, why come you don't say anything? She says, no, it's not my space, right? She goes, matter of fact, me and my husband and now my kids watch Hope every week, right? Shout out to you. I go to places, I go to restaurants and be like, yo, I love class. Thank you so much. I don't know who these people are. I never seen a day in my life.
I can't cat off no more. I don't know who be.
I mean, it's and on top of that too. What you have to also understand is that there's a couple things that happen. COVID changed rhythms.
Yep.
So before COVID, everybody's at home, so I'm going to class. Now that people want to get back out, they're out. But what they're doing is doing what silence is doing. So when I watch the numbers to the week, the numbers keep going up and up on the views. Another thing. Two is that I'm also getting people. Everybody don't still translate the importance of repetition.
Come on.
Everybody thinks ahas is the goal, not repetition.
Come on, bro.
Do you know I sit in his class? He's teaching books I've taught. So you would think when he teaches, I would just get up and go to the bathroom and be in the hallway typing on a laptop. Do you guys know I'm in his class? I'm in his class. You know I'm in his class? Because there's perspective, like what Pastor Chris said, even at my stage, I have to practice the basics over and over, and they keep meaning something different as I grow. Mm-hmm. Two is that, for example, this whole month, I've quoted about 3 or 4 things he said in like 2 classes ago. I've been quoting to everybody, and I've been using it in different contexts and different discussions and different arguments, right? Also, I measure my growth not on what I know, but what I can use. And use of knowledge is different than gaining knowledge. You can have a whole bunch of knowledge and somebody go to punch at you, you realize, okay, what was I supposed to do? Right? But when you could just have, when you could program yourself impulsively, when something comes your way, you just automatically go into that stance and conquer the moment. That's a whole different growth level. And I've been watching my growth level going, wow, this is crazy. Because at first, I think it was 2 years ago, we were discussing ending this. And then I was like, but I think we're benefiting from this just as much as so the giving has allowed us to receive. It's a hidden level of reciprocity for us. So I'm like, I don't understand how, like, gaining pop, because going to your point, Tone, yes, we're checking feedback, but we can't measure by large numbers because that's not a thing. How many people are entrepreneurs in a society? It's not even 1%, bro. So, and in black communities, even lower than that. So if I just got the key people, if I got 20 students that take off and they powerful and have impact, that exponential growth is more important than popularity and everybody being mediocre. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's missed. Like in your guys' own testimony, there's wins. I'm not your daddy. You understand me? And so, every once in a while, it just wants to come out through my spirit. But point is this, but the thing is that because I'm not your daddy, I can't be everything to you. You understand me? That's what I told her. So I can't be everything to you. And so at the end of the day, look, because this is not me no more. I'm married, man. I ain't doing this no more. But just just when I try to walk away, they pull me back in. Anyway, let's go next. Let's go next. I'll just be silly, y'all. Let's go next one.
Can I just say a really quick thing to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think about this first point like a hype cycle for entrepreneur. I think that the term entrepreneur became such a popular statement, especially in the transition of COVID. Everybody and their mama wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I think that when you think about what a hype cycle is. When it's new, early adopters, everybody's trying to do the things. And then as time goes on, take it like a year. Even though Hope is longer than a year, the typical class is about a year long. It's all those excited people with all of the vigor in the beginning, Q1. And by Q2, everybody's gone. And it's like sifting through a river. You got a whole bunch of rocks at the bottom. You only got a few pebbles of gold. And so the people that are sticking around, that are staying consistent, are the people that are going to be the ones that have the butterfly effect impact. And everybody doesn't need to be super successful in order for there to be a lot of success to happen in the community. There just needs to be a handful of leaders. And I think that that's what's important about recognizing hype cycles in entrepreneurship, is that we get so focused on the follows and the crowds of people and everybody calling our name and the highlights. And then you start realizing, but they're not adding to your bank account. They're not adding value to you. They're not impacting your life in a positive way in any kind of way. And so I think it's really important, even if it's not from a monetary standpoint, because some people are still in the concept and idea stage. You have to have something to measure against. And if you don't have benchmarks to measure against, then it's just like it's your ego and your press secretary adding value where there isn't really any value. And I think that that's where the meat and potatoes of people having attendance and dropping is. It's the hype cycle going in and out each year.
Let me take my gloves off for a second. I'm gonna give you some honest feedback. All of our most hyped students, and when we had our highest level of popularity, they broke. Next slide. I'm gonna tell you. Look at the numbers. All the hype people, I'm talking about broke, but they were so hype. The ones I know are real entrepreneurs because they coming at me like almost like I want this because I need to eat this ingredient to go to the next level. But when the ones be like, yo, this bro, Nana, this is changing this right here. I'm be at every class. Bye.
Can I also say, the ones who are consistently here through the ups, the downs, the valleys, the highs, the lows, the winter, the spring, fall, that core group's still here. The crowd around them dissipates and comes back and dissipates, but that core group stays. Most of the people in that core group are performing their ass off.
And we're watching them too. We're like, when I say we're watching you, I don't care about your words. I'm looking at your numbers.
So that's to me what keeps us, that's what encourages us, because we know, like you know, entrepreneur, you know this shit, the challenges that come with it. So, and the discipline required, the mental discipline and fortitude required of entrepreneurship is, when it gets hard, I still have to show up. When it gets difficult, I still have to show up. You see what I'm saying? No matter what I feel, I still have to show up. So in the moments of, there's plenty of people who, I'm busy, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, this came up, that came up. But they still figure out a way to make that time because they know it adds value. And those are the people that's important for me. Before COVID, when we walk in and it was cracking in there. It was cracking in there, standing room only. If that was the exciting part of Hope, then we wouldn't be able to do this when nobody's in the room with the same vigor and excitement, because the values that we have inside is like, if one person can benefit from this, one person can hear something different, that's cool, especially if it adds value to you.
All right, let's jump in the next slide. Next point.
The online experience is lacking. There's no dedicated process for engagement with the people watching. Questions often go unseen and unraised, or raised long after the point of relevance, leaving people to feel like viewers versus remote participants.
Okay, so let me share transparency there. We don't have enough money for all of it. The level of robustness I would like to see. You know, if you guys were around the day when Harvard was built and you compared it to Harvard today, you would say, what was that? That was a bathroom. That's about the size of Harvard, the size of probably Harvard's bathroom today for their execs. Two, we also the part of the online experience was Shabisha. I watched the online experience and I watched the engagement, and she'd be like, "Hey, any questions? Anybody?" Tweet, 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 tweet. Then when Shakina first took over, you remember Shakina? I don't know if you guys watched her in the beginning. When she was typing, she wasn't working on her personal stuff. I thought personally she was working on her personal stuff myself because she'd be like, da, 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 da. Shakina was actually taking notes. So now she has to go from taking notes, reading, and engaging class. And recently, if you guys been paying attention, her rhythm's gotten better. Now, we have discussions that sometimes we dismiss certain questions because it doesn't flow or it's disruptive, because when it's online, the problem when we're in person, there is a dance with in person. I've even discussed with a couple of people that our next level of growth, I can see us having an online class and then having editors cut it up for 2 days later to be posted for in-person class, and 2 days later editors would cut it up and give it an online presentation. But there will always be a difference between in-person and online. Let me tell you why. Let's say one of the things I would love to do is do exercises. Hey, okay, let's take 30 minutes to do exercise. Do you know what that would look like online? Dead time. So because we're live, in order for us to have more of a robust in-person, so both sides are creating trade-offs for each other for it to work together, because if we go online focus, we're going to hurt some of the in-person commitments. And if we go the vice versa. So there has been a difference. Now, do I agree with this point? I absolutely do agree with this point.
Too.
I do think, and we're always trying to hack that process of making online better. But two things are going to have to change. Is one, we're going to have revenue growth, because I'm already spending money outside of Hope to keep Hope going. So, like, for example, when Sydney does slides, I'm paying for that from 5T Media. Tennille, I'm paying for that from 5T Media, right? And so at this point, and once again, my time is free, and I'm only going to give so much time before they call this thing called drift. Drift is when a for-profit business creates a nonprofit, puts so much time in a nonprofit, it kills off their for-profit. So I have to always think about, okay, what do I commit myself to that I can walk away from? So if something surge in my business, I can shut down all this for a whole week and just be back here on Wednesday. Because if I don't manage that correctly, then you will see me some Wednesdays and be like, where's Nana for a few weeks? But I have to be able to manage where I don't overcommit to something like promises and rituals and structures that would force me to have so much time commitment to Hope that I can't deal with the surges, ups and downs of 510 Media. So totally agree with this one. I think this one will be more addressed with growth. And part of the growth solution was, what I thought about this one was, we would want to create a situation where the online posting, and then we'd make online even more robust. So we would have it cut up and, add more effects to it and the whole, but we would record it, and the people in class would have that day lesson, and then 2 days later you would have, and then even in the online lesson, I can have, because we have the resources, have somebody can engage the questions and even lob the questions up to future classes. But right now, financially, we're not designed for that. We're not getting enough volunteers. Shakina's volunteering, right? So we need more support for some of these things to come to existence. But we maximize this engine, right? It's like there's no way in the world. This man was in a situation where he lost almost $500,000, and his business was tanking because of some betrayal, not because of him, because of a betrayal. Now he's building some dope, robust stuff, and I'm sure once he finishes, he has some dope stories. I can't wait till he gets to where he wants to get to so he can share that story. But while when he took the first hit and saw that money leave his account, he showed up next Wednesday at class. And you guys did not know. And so that commitment is that commitment of being here consistently is we're fighting that with brute force, but in the future, as money grows, we will design, and I do agree that I would like to. We discussed that many times. We would like to see the online presence stronger, but and if you really want this, I'm gonna just say, and I know, Tone, I don't know your personal stuff, so I don't want to make this sound like I'm pointing this gun at you, because I got to hear your point. I got to have a one-on-one conversation with you, but so I don't want to make this. But you got to show up. I'm sorry, you got to show up. Like those of you online, you're still getting more than you're gonna ever get from most. Like I'm waiting to find more stuff from Hope anywhere. Because if I find a person online is doing it, I'm going to take vacations, a lot of vacations, right? The reality is that, but those of you who really need to dive in and really like grind it out and ask extra questions, if y'all knew Shakina and y'all seen her journey, she got this because she acted like an entrepreneur, which is, and the same thing I was like, when my mentor showed up, okay, think about this. Imagine you had a mentor. How much is your mentor going to give you? I don't know if you guys ever like built something before and had a real mentor. You had limited access and you better have agency. And if you don't go out and get that information for yourself, that mentor can't do shit for you. And if they give you 2% of knowledge and you come back to them, you ain't did nothing with it.
Man, get out of here.
Man, you don't got my face. So the reason I created Hope originally was because I was trying to mentor one-on-one and it was overwhelming. So it was one-to-many as opposed to one-to-one where I couldn't do the time. So a lot of times when people meet in the streets like, yo, can I spend time with you? Yeah, see you on Wednesday.
And back in the day, tell me if you're wrong. Back in the day, maybe if your mentor did this to you, it was I'm not doing that, or that's beneath me. Like if my mentor told me to go get him some cheesecake, I go get him some cheesecake.
Yeah. No, that's no exaggeration. That's no exaggeration.
So that's not even play game. Ego that's real. Or being much. You're sitting under somebody who has made, at the time, the first millionaire was a multi-billionaire that I sat under. Like, come meet me at my office every Friday at 12 p.m. and I will give you some game. If he told me to go get him some cheesecake, I'd be like, what size? Because what I'm about to soak up is going to change my life. I don't care. Like, that's some ego shit. It's ego. So, and my next mentor told me to go watch a show. Like, go watch this series show and then give me your thoughts on it. I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I didn't come to you to go watch TV. But I'm going to do it. Because once I did it, I realized, oh, this is where he was trying to go. Oh, I got it. So you don't have the luxury to try to outthink your mentor because you ain't got it. You ain't got shit. You ain't got stuff. You don't got not where you want to be. That person is. That person has tools that you need. So you don't have the luxury to pick and choose what you want to listen to, because I guarantee you most of the stuff that you pick and choose not to listen to is the stuff that's holding you back. Mm-hmm. And a mentor is standing from a different perspective as an observer, and he can see it all. And like, all right, well, my mentor used to say, Court, this is what I'm gonna tell you to do. Do this, and call me back when you do it. And I call him back, and he said, you didn't do it, did you? I said, no. You did this, didn't you? Yeah, I did this. How'd you know? Because I see you. So do this, clean it up, and then call me back again and do what I tell you to do. All right. Like, that's how the shit go. That's how it go.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead. Get questions, statements, whatever. Go ahead.
So to this point, to the teachers and to people in the class and Kaja, whoever wants to answer this, if you're holding, let me scroll up here so I can look at the mic. If you're holding this statement to be true about the lack of engagement, my curiosity is, from an ownership perspective, like I can only do so much. Like I'm in here because y'all, I got a business and I'm trying to grow it. So my attention is definitely split, but I am also trying to show up and figure out what I can do. So what I'm curious about is, if we're seeing this blind spot about the online experience not being what we would like it to be, like what are the different ways that we can show up to support that so that we can have a better, fuller experience in the community, as opposed to just being like, oh, well, this sucks, because we can all carry so much. So I would love to hear from a community space of like, what not like we like us, because we all are carrying a title, like Josh is cameras, Scott is sound, I'm reading, like everyone's got a role, but like how as a community.
Just always eating.
Hey, Lottie Main, that sandwich good, cuz.
Yeah, he lost weight now, but he be still getting his snacks in. But go ahead.
But no, I would just love to know, like, because we do have a robust community. Like, how can we show up as a community to collectively make the experience better, online and in person? I would love to hear from teachers and students.
Go ahead.
I built in a whole recommendations page. I would never surface these things without giving some recommendations about what I think could be helpful. And I don't know if that page was included here, but I closed it out with saying,
Oh, it's coming.
I'm
It's
willing
coming.
to raise my hand for wherever I can be most useful, because it's not just up for a few people to make it come together. It really will take everyone's involvement.
That's up.
Okay, we on silence then Scott.
One of the things I remember that was dope, like there was a lot of experimentation that used to go on in the early days. And when, like, we used to have small group, you know what I'm saying? We had class and then small group breakouts. And then there'd be other nights where what was that show that we used to watch? Like once a month, we used to come together and watch
Prophet.
The Prophet.
The Prophet, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that stuff helps to the steel sharpen steel and the camaraderie amongst the folks who are showing up.
Yeah, but
right.
that gets compromised by online.
Yeah.
So because if you're online and we were breaking off for 30 minutes, that's 30 minutes of nothing happening online. If if we do the Prophet, that's copyright issues online. So
this is for like outside of class, like
right.
In-person camaraderie. But the reason I haven't brought up is because it goes back to that point of that. I feel like there was a thing that you brought up where, like, yo, if you're not seeing it, do it yourself. And if I don't have the capacity to do it myself, then I'm not about to bring that up yet, right? But I would like to see that, and I would like to make space for some sort of the in-person part of us getting together at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And here's the thing. Once again, I think that's your true point, which is I'm training entrepreneurs. I'm not training employees.
Yeah,
you're not my employees. Go do that shit. Like, literally, go do this shit. Like, I'm not, like I told you, don't call me daddy. Go do that shit. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey, what's happening with you?
It's Obi.
Yeah, live from Cincinnati, Ohio. I want to say, I now that I've transitioned from the in-person class to the online class, I could say the only thing that would make the online class better is sort of being there. And for me, I think the information that I get is so valuable that I don't really, my personal experience is I personally don't need any more bells and whistles on the online experience. Like, for me, coming to Hope is literally like, you know, pulling gold out of a river. So it's like, I don't care if nobody else is showing up to pull gold out of the river. I don't care if, there's not enough ability to like see everything and hear everything, because it's a workout. So the work is internally. And so, yeah, when I was in line, it was like when I was in person, we were all in the room doing the workout together and benefiting. And now that I'm not in the room, I still got to do the workout, you know? So it's like, it's just, I feel like, for my personal experience, I just gained so much. I have been given so much game. I have improved so much as a father, as a businessman. The business that I'm starting is 100% built out of service, and that was a concept I didn't comprehend, understand, or could even speak about before I had Hope. So for me, I just need Hope to continue, and Hope as it is a blessing, and I'm grateful. But even being 3,000 miles away and it being 11 o'clock at night out here versus, 7 or 8 o'clock out there, like, I don't care, because what I'm getting is just that dope.
Right on, man.
That's
right
tight.
on. Right on. Appreciate that, family. Tell them appreciate that. All right. Go ahead, Scott.
It's real quick from a technical aspect. Something I've seen, because I watched the comments in the class and all that we're rolling to in case somebody misses it. Mm-hmm. We run 45 seconds to a minute behind latency wise. So sometimes there'll be questions that pop up in the chat that get cleaned up in the conversation in the room. So by the time it gets to the chat, we've already cleaned up that question. And so it kind of becomes like a How you say that? Moot point.
Mute point.
Yeah,
Mute
yeah.
point. Yeah.
So-
So you guys type in a question. There's a 45 minute delay. Because when Court was last week, like I asked a question, we were like, Court, calm down, because he's like, ain't nobody say anything. He's like, Court, it takes about a 45 seconds to a minute. And he's like, oh, all right, cool, because you know. Go ahead.
Also, lastly, you do at the end of class, as you're wrapping up, saying, hey, and I'll take any questions. And after you say that, you generally start going into a new part of a lecture too. And there are no questions online once you do that. Like, part of it, yes, we try to engage, but as you were saying earlier, people also have to be willing to try to engage and create engagement. Because we're entrepreneurs, we're supposed to embrace conflict.
Yeah. All right, good. Next one. All right, next slide.
Challenges. Curriculum feels aged. For tenured Hopers, there is more repeat info than new.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys. You guys go ahead.
Man, skip this one. We already went through this 2 weeks ago. Hey, yeah, nah, we good. Next. I'll say this. Because you and I had a conversation.
Why you say next?
I'm joking, but two,
He said you covered it.
y'all kind of went over this 3 weeks ago, and we talked about the repeat of like books and stuff.
Repetition.
So it was kind of like that was a checkmate. I own that because I know Nana and I had a talk. He checked in with me and we talked about it. And then when that class came, it was funny because y'all kept saying, this ain't because of you, Kaja. And I'm like, is it because of what me and Nana?
No. He literally when he took
I
off
knew
that
nothing
directive,
about none of y'all.
He didn't. He knew nothing about. He didn't know nothing about these feedback.
He didn't
And he
know
took off. I was
nothing.
like,
But it was good. It
My
was
woo woo be kicking
I
in.
promise you. Hey,
told you.
Hey, these two brothers are my spiritual brothers here. Because Pastor Chris is the highest spiritual. This brother's I don't know. These cats be. I don't like the way they be knowing me too much.
It was great. I was like, damn. Does Court know that I just?
I don't know nothing.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know how this
you
is
explained
possible.
it because that really, you gave me a different perspective and you checked me on that and I appreciate that. So that I was joking, but that's why I was like, man, we can go past
Oh,
this.
got you.
Because you made a good point. And Pastor Chris just said it. Like, just because you read just because you went through the Bible once don't mean you just put it on the shelf and you end it. Like, you got to keep learning and recycling stuff. So I appreciate that, and I apologize for making that observation and comment because I needed to be checked on that. Because Nana, you're right. Every time I do read a certain book or we go over certain things, I do learn something new, like all the time. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that and acknowledge that.
Right on, Tone.
I have a question. It's more of a question because I've been here for a couple years now, but I know there are several people, I don't want to say a lot. There are several people who have been with Hope for many, many years, some from the inception. But something that I perceived, not last week as I was out sick, but the week before, when you all went back to basics, the stuff that has been revisited. And I just kind of observed, because again, I don't talk much, but I'm listening because I'm trying to take it in. And I know there's some things that we've touched base on that have been repetitive, but every time there's another layer to it. So my question is to those of us that have been in the program a long time, I recall you guys teaching the back to basics. What is this? And this is something you guys have done year after year after year after year. And very few other than Shakina could answer the majority of the, and Kaja.
And I'm like, Shakina, no talking.
But there were a lot of spaces where there was crickets. And these are the basics of Hope. So when I read this, I'm sort of like, yes, curriculum, it could feel repetitive, but isn't it necessary if we can't answer the questions? That means we're not owning that. We don't have ownership of the topic. So I'm just curious, like how you guys perceive that.
I think he's yielding. I think he's yielding the floor on that one. I think he's agreeing with you. He's answering the question in a way that the question is almost prime, which is he recognized that at the time it was distortion. Also, I think there's another distortion too. Is if I ask Shakina that question because of her commitment, I haven't taught anything this year I've ever taught before. But most people, just if you're not really listening to the class, you won't really. So I think there's a lot of distortion. We talked about this. There's a lot of distortions happening, right? None of the podcasts I put out this year, I never put out before, right? And so I think a lot of those distortions are part of but I think both of them are saying, nah, let's move past that one. Okay. We don't want to be there. So let's go next slide. All right.
Challenges. Lack of opportunities to measure effectiveness or retention. How do you know if or how these principles are landing? Stepford syndrome. Everybody is nodding and agreeing, even down to using the same verbiage. I find it difficult to believe everyone is in agreement with all points. Why aren't they pushing back or challenging anything? This feels like it's more aligned with optics versus true alignment.
Damn. So those are two. So Stepford is the syndrome. This is when you're assuming what everybody's thinking. But the first one, lack of opportunities to measure effectiveness, retention. How do you know how these principles are landing? It ain't our responsibility. I know it sounds fucked up. It's not our responsibility. I don't care if you broke or not. It's up to you. I can't. Could you imagine Stanford? Like, you got to see if you want to see if people perform statistically. You want to get the right people performing the right way. But all the performers, they call me and we talk numbers. I watched Pastor Chris go from I'm ready to break away, do my own thing, leave my job. Do you know to this day he calls me with his numbers? Fern, numbers. Shakina, numbers. Court, numbers. Tone, even, numbers. I don't care. If you're not performing, because there's so many psychological challenges, until that light bulb comes on, there's nothing I can do. Do you realize that you really can't change people? There's two ways to change people. There's two ways. Either you force them by push. Okay, I ain't doing that. I ain't about to push nobody in this room. Y'all, this is California. I need my money. Two, or remove the tension, and when they're ready to go from removing the tension, they make the decision. This statement lacks agency. That's not anybody's responsibility. Whatever you're not showing up, when you're not getting what you need, it's up to you to be clear on what you need. Like, if I go to a gym and I'm following Shakina's training, but I'm still super fat, it's because I'm eating things I'm not telling her about. Mm-hmm. And it's no matter what she does, she can never serve that. At some point, that's a hidden, shallow dialogue I gotta have with myself and say, how committed am I to losing this weight? And what am I eating at nighttime when the lights are off, right? As opposed to going, your training's not working. And if she trains me and we're all sweating and working out, she can't say, I'm a horrible trainer because Tone hasn't lost appropriate weight. She did her portion of the process because she's not an incubator of weight loss. I mean, that you go move in my house, you stay here, I'm going to feed you, put you to sleep, wake you up.
Slap it out your hand.
Yeah. Except in California. And it goes in another place, right? But once you're serving a role that she's a trainer, she's not your nutritionist. She's not your doctor. She's not your psychologist. And she's not your security. So because of all those variables, honestly, if I start worrying, okay, it's the principle of noise. This is a higher principle. Stay with me. In stock game, stocks do this, right? I don't care what stock you're into, whether it's S&P, TB, they do this, right? It's proven if you check your stocks every minute, you would have, they said, or I forgot, just say if you check your stocks every minute for 200 minutes, you would have 107 disappointments to 93 moments of excitement. But if you check that same stock once a year, you would have 16 moments of rewards to 1 moment of disappointment, which means it's dangerous. Okay, here's a false sense of thinking and a false sense of control. Just because you watch something doesn't mean you control something. You can watch all the politics you want. You don't control it. But human beings think we control it because we watch it. This is why we watch our stocks. I'm going to check my stocks today. You got no control, baby. That's outside your control. So the reason I say I don't care is because if I inherit all that noise, it's going to put a weight on me that can damage all of our or how I'm showing up to this class, my motivation, my excitement, my drive, my focus, my policing, my first principle approach, my filtering to make sure, and then me taking all this complexity and then breaking it down to like, how do I translate this? How do I translate these principles that doesn't exist in our wild? So I don't care, and I never will care. I'll care when you perform, I will, but if you're not performing, because if I also too, here's something too. Stay with me, because it sounds like I'm being mean, but stay with me, because this is just the real shit about life. If I start caring, I lose grace. What's wrong? I'm done with Tone. That's it. He ain't did what he was supposed to do last week. See, grace says, let him make his mistakes, and I see him at the next pivot.
Woo, fire.
And that means I have grace for him.
Fire.
So me not caring is an act of grace. But if I start caring every day, it's not gonna be good for y'all. I'm done with y'all. I'm gonna start. I can't teach these Negroes.
Can I get in there? So here's another thing: is how do you build muscle? How do you build muscle?
Repetition, baby.
Repetition is that it?
You gotta rip your muscles apart.
You rip your muscles apart. Is that it?
You gotta have sleep. You gotta have nutrition. You
Sleep.
gotta have consistency.
Is that it? Nutrition. What's nutrition? What do you need to build muscle?
Protein.
You
Carbs,
need protein. Protein to build muscle, right?
Attractive people that help you stay focused.
How do you so you need protein to build muscle. Okay, what are some things you can eat that has protein in it?
Meat.
Avocados, nuts.
Pause.
Meat.
Yogurt, milk, eggs, milk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Protein powder.
All those things that I mentioned.
Just protein powder.
All the things you guys mentioned. Do those things spoil?
Yes.
So if you put a big glass of milk and a giant piece of freshly cut meat in front of somebody, will it spoil if they don't eat it?
Yes.
That's what knowledge is for us. We can give you protein-packed, full of ingredients, knowledge that has all the protein to build gigantic muscles. But if you sit there and don't absorb it into your body, it's going to spoil. Then you'll be mad that it's spoiled and and you ain't built no muscle. You have to apply it. Wisdom doesn't spoil. Because wisdom is the absorption of knowledge, because you applied it, you tried it, you made it work, it failed, you tried again, you went back, and you figured out a way to adapt that into your psychology and your body. And now it's a muscle now that's half an inch bigger, and it ain't going nowhere. But the fucking the food by itself, the milk by itself, it has an expiration date. You only have a short amount of time because guess what? Once it spoils, you be on to something new. And then he'll be like, hey, do you guys remember this thing? And he'll be like, no, I don't remember it. I taught it last week. That's because it was in front of us. It sat there. It looked good. Man, that's a good steak. Nice looking steak. That sounds good. But you didn't pull it in and do anything with it.
That's why we need repetition.
And that's why we come back and say, it's not like we don't take the feedback. We say, damn, that didn't land. How can I say it again different way? And maybe it'll land better the next time. How can I get better from where I am? And let me come back and do it again and try this way, this illustration, this simplicity, this thing, and see the feedback. Or I'll get calls and texts to say, hey, that helped me understand it better. Then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stick with that thing then. Maybe it'll help other people. But you got to do some work. Like, we carving out our time and humbly giving you everything we got in terms of all the skill set, knowledge, research. This brother's curating a whole understanding to give. Like, we giving you everything I got, but we can't pour the milk inside, and you got to fucking pick it up and drink it.
So yeah, and so it's not that I don't care. Me caring means I can't care for everything. I got to be able to accept that when you ready to come. Seeing yourself, going back to Jahari window, seeing yourself is hella hard.
Yeah.
So everybody in this room can have the same intent, but is blinded by portions of themselves that ends up underserving yourself. And I could talk to you 1,000 times, and if your mindset that your trauma is translating our conversation, then the outcome won't be what I expect from the long talk I just gave you. So if I get to a point I start caring too much, and you didn't do what we last time discussed, now I don't talk to you at all. Now you're like, damn, how did you get so mad at me? Because I cared too much. That's on me. Remember I told you, I said earlier, stop worshiping people. That's why if something's coming up by Tyler Perry tomorrow you don't like, you'd be like, well, I still appreciate what he did. Like what Bill Cosby, I don't care whether you agree or disagree, you still appreciate what he did, right? The reality is that in this situation here, for me to serve the public, I can't and when we tell you your bank account is your report card, we're telling you, no, we're not in the process of sitting here going, let me see your numbers, C, what the fuck, F, A plus, right? We're literally saying to you, the way you're gonna know that this is resonating, you should be able to look at your bank account. And if it's not, then it's up to you to say, hey, Nana, when I'm in class, it's not working for me, man. Or I'm here for like 30 minutes, almost like 80% of classes, I'm here 30 minutes. And can I talk to you real quick? Nana, that class, it's, I heard you, it ain't translating for me. And a lot of times it's just a conversation, a tweak, or a subtle adjustment, a calibration. But if you're not talking to me and you're suffering, and you're not, and the question is then, who are you talking to? Like, what are you doing? Because your ecosystem matters. If you come to this class and you have this experience, and you go home to people who are like in a different realm of thought, then a lot of stuff will get twisted in translation. When you put both feet, one foot in business and growing our building, and one foot into having a job, you're probably confused as you want to be. Mm-hmm. As confused as you want to be, because it's two different languages. Because, okay, let me explain to you. Adam Smith, right? Richard Adam Smith, economist, top economist, started the whole economic system. You know why slavery ended? Because it became too expensive. That's one of the reasons. It's like 3 or 4 different causations, but one of the reasons, and the major reason, they found out it was cheaper to rent labor than to have slaves. Because you know what slaves were doing in their rebellions? They worked slower, they broke the tools, they faked their sicknesses, they messed up the crop. So the cost of slavery was going up. And they found that they rent labor, which that's what a job is. They rent you. They actually saved money from renting labor than having slaves. And who ran the experiment? Europe ran the experiment first and said, hey, y'all, this works. And they started pushing it. And then the North took off and said, yeah, that system don't work. It doesn't even make no sense. It's archaic. It's time to move. If we're going to be a strong economy, we got to move towards renting labor. Don't confuse the rented laborers and the job process of being rented labor as entrepreneurs. Those are such a different world. You can't hear this. You can't hear this. So a lot of times when you're sitting in class, you got to start with questions and curiosity. If you're not leading with questions and curiosity, your defense is the problem, not the information. Because I'm not saying I'm 100% right, because we signed up to ride this journey with you, discover that no man who walks this earth will ever be 100% right. If you think we are, you worshiping us. What we suggest to you is that in this process, there is going to be a translation gap. And if you reference your information to hear my information, you can't hear this information. So that second one, the Stepford syndrome, you know why you believe in climate change? Because you trust the people who told you it's a climate change. That's it. You know why some people don't believe in climate change? They don't trust the people who told us it's climate change.
What's the Stepford syndrome?
Stepford syndrome is when you think you know what other people are thinking. Because that was said in your statement. I believe people are just sitting in class and nodding, and they're not really saying what they want to say. Huh? Go ahead.
By Stepford syndrome is like a nod to Stepford Wives. You just nod and agree. Vacant, nod and agree. And I'm like, everybody agrees, or you'll say something, you say it's fire, and everybody go, yeah, that's fire, that's fire. And I'm looking around like, sometimes it just seems a little weird. Like everybody thought the same thing. Nobody disagreed. That just seems maybe.
But okay, but let me ask you something. How does that matter?
It matters because is there a level of rigor we're missing because there's not sugar and salt, push and pull?
What do you need? Because what Tone needs, what Pastor Chris needs, what Silence needs, and what Shakina need are different things. When I'm sitting with my mentor, let's say all three of us went to my mentor and Shakina said, he sucks. Oh, he said, well, I'm getting mine.
Right.
This dude's hella tight. Right? Like, when you start worrying about what she's thinking about it, or even if they got in a fight and argument, can y'all stop arguing because I need to get back to what he's teaching.
Right.
Like, literally, I don't understand that point at all. Like, that one confused me of all of them.
It's not anchoring on what people are thinking because, like you said, everyone is coming here with their own nuanced needs. But is it possible that there's a richness of discussion that's not happening if people are not speaking to whatever?
Let me speak to a little bit of that because there's some truth in there.
Okay.
Here's where some truth in what you just said. I sit down with people all the time. Everybody, you might have sat down, including you. What you think and what you hear in a moment, and as a presentator, as I'm speaking to you, is not really how you're translating it. So you know where the friction comes in? Didn't we have friction at your dinner? Didn't we have friction, Tone? All the time. I mean, someone's like, Shakina, don't we have friction all the time? Right? Scott, don't we have friction all the time? Court, don't we have friction? Pastor Chris, don't we have friction? Because what happens is the friction comes out when I start asking further questions and go, no, you didn't get it. Or sometimes it might be, I'm overjudging, right? But it comes through a process of discovery. Those who want that friction find a way to talk to us.
Coming for it.
And keep talking.
Yeah, Fern, is there friction? Like, is it friction? For you and your sister, right? For good friction. Okay, let's start to sound a little weird. Point is this. It's not going another way. I'm like, okay, girl, I don't know how you just meant. The rest of us talking about something else. Okay. Anyway, hey, okay, now, all right, now you see, the young version of me would have caught that. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's talk about that friction later. But the older version of me, I don't do that. But point is this. I'm older now. I don't talk like that. Point is this. My point is that when you're in class and the information is new and is landing for the first time, the nod is because you're processing it. Nobody sits in this class and understands. If I spoke to you in full agreement all the time, then I'm not teaching you nothing, right? So when people are nodding, they're going, I didn't think about that. Wait, you haven't got to a point of disagreement yet. That's too far. That's after taking it home and going, Court comes to me sometime, be like, I think it was this one class, I brought up randomness. He goes, I don't believe it's absolutely random. I said, And we had a debate in a parking lot, right? I mean that he heard it, took a minute, sat with it, processed it, discussed it, and then processed it again. What I'm arguing is that disagreements on first impulse is ego. Because you tell me anything I never heard before, I'm like, wait, what? Now, a healthy learner goes, can I ask you some questions about that? That's a disagreement in learning. A disagreement in ego is, nah, bro, you tripping. You trip. And okay. When Court said earlier, I told Shakina this a few weeks ago. I said, Shakina, she made some comment to me, and I said, could you start asking me questions instead of assuming that I'm wrong? If you ask me questions, there's lessons in some of my awkward statements. I'm making these weird statements, but I'm teaching a lesson in another realm. And you're trying to understand me from your realm. And if you just ask a question, I can lead you to this realm. So the whole idea, if this class was a constant space of people going, I disagree. I'm like, why do our egos get so big? And it doesn't mean that we can't have disagreements once in a while. It's if you just find off disagreements because you've never heard it before, or it makes you you're supposed to feel uncomfortable. So I would assume, because many of us do feel uncomfortable in here, it's a process we take it through before we start saying, nah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And everybody has different learning styles. Everybody got different learning styles. So different personalities call for different reactions. Some people, from this vantage point, I'll see a thought will come through or an idea will come through, and it's like, oh, and you see them stuck for a while. They don't have time to, because they're like, this is new for me. I need to think about this.
I can't put up data.
And then
can't put up data fast.
Then sometimes it's a delay where it's a day later call to say, hey, I'm confused about this, or I don't think I necessarily agree with that. Some people are afraid. They're not as comfortable with themselves as, say, you or Shakina, to where they're like, nah, like, we love that. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna keep it real. That's good. That's good. But you also got to understand everyone has different styles. So, what you two do is probably 10%, 5% of the population even has the courage to do. And so a lot of these thoughts are new. This type of thinking is new. Entrepreneurial thinking is new. So I think the glaze over face that you're talking about, I think that happened to me when I first came, because the crowd was so large. So it was people in there just partying, or people like, it's some attractive people in this room. I just want to be in a room. Versus, I really want to learn this entrepreneurship stuff, and I really want to grow and learn. So the ones that are here, listen, y'all can be anywhere y'all want to be on a Wednesday night at 6 p.m. and y'all got to go to work or go build tomorrow. So I doubt anybody who shows up here just gonna be stuck blank face and just allowing the time to pass. I don't like that. I think everyone has different styles. That's my thought.
Go ahead, Josh.
Also, I get the privilege of hearing people outside of this class that aren't in this room talk too. And the other elephant in the room is that you can't know how these principles are landing if you're still working a 9 to 5. A lot of people I talk to don't do entrepreneurship as a lifestyle full time. They still work whatever they're doing, and they're posturing when they come in here to make it look like I put my business hat on, when some of us in here don't ever take our business hat off. And so a lot of it has to do with courage too, to be able to stand in front of a community and be vulnerable and reveal what it is that you're doing. And only a few of us are transparent and take the hot seat.
That's good, Ash. That's good.
Pass.
Pass the microphone. Okay, go.
Also, when you come to this class, you have to be here to trust the process. The process is not going to be easy. You're going to deal with a lot of conflict within yourself that a lot of people are not ready for. I remember the first time I reached out to Nana, he sent me a very detailed email of what I should a suggestion that I should do. And I looked at that email for a very long time. And not till 6 months later did I start the process, because I wasn't ready to really reflect. You have to really look in that mirror and really put to yourself that it's not about him. It's not about court. It's about the knowledge that they're showering down on you to be able to change you. And you have to be ready for that conflict as an individual, because if you're not, you're going to come in here with the fake hat. You're going, oh yeah, that's fire on everything he say, where I know sometimes he say some stuff, I'll be like, oh my God. And I'll text my daughter like, oh my God, you got to watch this class. And it's to the point where it's like, you have to be ready, or you will be in here with the blank face and the stares. But sometimes, I won't lie, some things hit me later, and I'd be like, oh my God, did he really say that? And then I'll find myself not listening to music in my car. I'm listening to the class. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to a book that's going to help me. And I see in my life, like, other than watching YouTube, cop cams, don't judge me, and motor stuff, I'm watching the class. I'm rewatching old classes that I wasn't even here for, because I'm hungry for the knowledge. And I'm trusting the process that, my health is better. My income is better. My account isn't. Now, I'm not a full entrepreneur. I help my dad. I'm raising my business back. But I'm seeing even my leadership at work. Since I've been in this class, I got promoted. I'm seeing my account being better. So this leadership takes you into your job if you let it take you into your job. If you're just sitting there like, oh, I'm just going to be an entrepreneur, then that's what you're going to be, and you can't get nothing. But I'm looking at it as the leadership that they give me, the positive reinforcement that they give me. Because I'll keep it real with you. I've never ate this good in my life, and I don't know what it is about me in the gym, but I'm at home. I bought me some Facebook Marketplace. I got me some 20-pound dumbbells. I'm at home in my own house working out. I went to the gym by myself, and I went up to somebody and said, hey, I don't know how to use this machine, but can you show me? And it was life-changing because of a few things that he said, change this, do this. And the conversation was friction, but it was great friction. Not in a bad way, y'all. It was great. And I took the I'm telling you.
Preach, girl. Testify. I ain't going to bother you.
I took the
Raise my reputation.
But I'm serious. It was a mind changer for me. It was mind blowing.
I'll just play it.
So you just got to trust the process and be ready for the outcome. Oh, Lord.
Pastor Chris.
I'm laughing, Kaju, because you totally are describing my experience when I first came to Hope the first couple of years. There's a scripture that says you don't put new wine in the old bottles or else the bottle will break and the wine spills out and you lose it. I kept trying to shove hope into the matrix of my life. So I would get frustrated and I would call him out like, but last week you said this, but this week you said this. So that means it's a contradiction. I had no idea. I was still in this dog kind of mindset where I'm trying to systematize something that's a completely different matrix. So I really kept trying to put hope into my bivocational structure. So I'm sitting here like, at the job, it's this, and it's this, and this. And I didn't realize it was a bunch of stuff. I was like, I don't need to do that. They're like, you're going to have to go to the gym every day. I was like, no, you don't. That's so stupid. And I didn't realize until now, oh, wait, I don't react to employees on my team different because I have a healthy relationship with discomfort. It actually had nothing to do, quote unquote, with the gym. It had everything to do with going every day and committing to something that I don't feel like doing. And so that became a game changer for me. Also, when I lost the security of I'm gonna get a check no matter what, it forced me to be out here moving way different. And I didn't realize a lot of stuff was being lost in translation because I was still trying to hold on to a certain matrix and a certain space. And now I'm sitting here like, yep, oh my God, missed it. It was like they were speaking a whole different frequency that I was unable to interpret because I was still limited by the matrix. I was trying to take this genius information and then put it right here. It was a friction that wasn't gonna let it translate. I had to really jump out the window and not have nothing. I remember I told Nana, I was like, my old job wants me to be on the board. He was like, bro, we don't do boards no more. Little stuff like that I didn't know. Oh yeah. And again, UC Berkeley, theology, school, systematized. It wasn't until I started breaking down the matrix. Wait, they created these stories in these positions in order for me to be a part and feel like that was building my self-esteem. Now let me go create my own story. So it became a total different matrix. I just have a lot of empathy for what you said. And after the first year was when I started embracing the redundancy. I started embracing the stuff I was getting.
Yeah, that's fire.
Obi said online, which I thought was dope. For me, it's not that I agree, but if I could rely solely on my own understanding and have success, I would have no need for hope. So I try to think about every new idea because what I want to grow into.
Didn't Marquita said the same thing too. She sat as a moderator when I first started teaching. Marquita was on the side working, helping the class be put together, and she would raise her hand and ask questions and stuff. But she said it wasn't until she started her own That's My Jam, she was like, the information now has completely different colors and variations, and I get it now. Because when you get it, you get it. And sometimes the only way to get it is when you feel You feel it. You have, okay, my back isn't, I got no options, no choice. It resonates different. And so we're speaking from that language. We're not going to come down. We're going to stay here. So what that means is you have to reach up and trust what you're reaching up to.
Or even ask hella questions.
Or ask hella questions.
Because you ask questions, I don't sit arrogantly on a hill. I chose to serve. So I'm going to go to the bottom of the hill and say, come on up here. Let me show you what it's about, right? But I think it was Carmelo Anthony was talking about Jordan. Lance Stevens was playing on, he said his biggest regret was when he played on Jordan team, he never talked to Jordan. He said, I don't know what I was thinking. He said, he goes, and Jordan never came to talk to him. And then Carmelo Anthony says, yeah, because when a mentor is around, he doesn't come for you, you come for him. And he's willing to make time for you once you say, I want it. But do you know how it feels to go to people when they don't want it? It's like attack. People, they will crush you. It will almost like throwing your pearls in front of swines. You do not ever go to somebody until they say they want to receive that information. And if they're not really serious, I know somebody who was in this class who was copying almost everything I said. Lost everything they had too. Because they didn't want it. They wanted the popularity of what I was saying over the substance and owning the substance. Because remember I said, I'm not trying to make you follow me. I'm trying to enhance you to become a leader. That's the big difference. Where a lot of these programs are like, I'm the leader of this church and y'all need to come follow me. No, I'm not. It's not me. I'm just a conduit. No, but you got. It's not that. Like in my business, I'm the leader. Okay, let me be very clear. But that's totally different. Don't be.
Come for my fellowship.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Look here. Next slide. You don't give me no trouble. Change direction. Go somewhere else. You're gonna have my brother talk to me after they're here talking about. Can we have? Come on, let me talk to you. My daughter's look like her daughter. What you say about my daddy?
Let us pray.
Go ahead. Read this one. Go ahead.
Challenges. Difficult points of reliability.
Relatability.
I'm sorry. Relatability. Yeah, y'all. I'm getting older. I'm an OG. I'm a triple OG, y'all. So y'all gotta respect.
You ain't no triple OG.
Hey, cut it out.
Okay.
Cut it out. Okay. Sports in the gym come up a lot. The examples feel very male-centric.
Oh, man. You coming for me, Kaja.
Does this align with the percentage?
Don't put pause on that one either.
Demographic.
Keep going.
Oh.
Go back to it. Does this align? Go ahead.
Kids.
Let's go.
Does this align with the percentage demographic of active enrolled participants, over-indexed on behavioral, psychological support, and little practical information?
Okay, so those are two different ones. Sports and the gym come up a lot. The examples feel very male-centric.
Can I get in on that?
Let me start. Go ahead. Explain it. Go ahead. You want to explain? Go ahead.
No, get in.
Yeah, go ahead. Huh? Okay. First of all, what's the first thing we tell you to day one class?
Go take your ass to the gym.
How many entrepreneurs in this room that went to the gym and it failed them and they didn't get the lesson? Raise your hand. If you went to the gym as an entrepreneur and it failed you, raise your hand.
Sit your little
Name a high-performing entrepreneur who rejects the gym.
Nobody, baby.
Is the brain observable? Okay, real quick. Let me finish. Go ahead. Is the brain growth observable?
Not unless you hook up.
So if I tell you, because like growth of the brain it's hard to observe it, right? Because have you ever went to work out and your brain told you no, even though you thought yes? Right? And then when you finish, your brain celebrates you like, I told you this was the best thing you ever did. But that's not the brain that was talking to you before you got there. So there's these deeper lessons that I can tell you all day in the world, but they don't really, it's hard to show you examples of where they actually sit. Now, I ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, give me some other areas where you can show samples of brain development through analogies that actually translate. It said gardening. It said acting. I think it was one more. None of those things I do. I don't know what to do to you.
Mechanics, cars.
The working out and exercise thing, the reason I have a problem with the word male-centric is because, let me ask you a hard question. Historically, looking at women from the evolution of time and our survival moving forward, can you define what is a woman?
No.
So how do we use these phrases so freely when we don't know, do women not work out? Do women not play sports? Women do not engage in competition? Because business is such a, when you go to play business, do you get a chance to battle with women only? You get a chance to battle with men only. You get to battle with whoever the opponent is. Now, I'm not saying they may not be something you need as a woman, but I don't know what the hell we're going to teach that's going to be feminine. I don't have a feminine lesson for you. If you ask me to paint your nails, you'll be painting everything wrong. If you ask me how to do hair, I don't know what to tell you. If you ask me how to hold a baby in your stomach, I'm going to talk about gas. I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you. What I'm saying is that as a man, I don't have a problem being limited as a man. I don't even want to play that game, because here's the thing. Let me talk about this man stuff for 1 second. If you don't mind if I have another moment. I was talking to a sister the other day about masculinity. And I said, it's what's so cute is you guys keep listening to these folks on social media who have no responsibilities, trying to tell you about parenting and family and responsibility. They don't have no responsibilities. But one thing I promise you, every person here that has responsibilities, and the more they grow, they come with cost. When I'm on a basketball court, I think Carmelo Anthony said he would play basketball against certain NBA players, and he knew how to take their heart from them because some men didn't have it in them, right? When you find men who don't work on our manhood, stop calling that cute, because that means we unenrolled. We said we don't want to participate in our responsibilities. And masculinity means that as a man, I know I may have to die for my community, my family, my daughter. That's the cost of being a man. Man means I'm going to have to do the most dangerous thing that if somebody knocks on my door right now that's not at 2 o'clock in the morning, or somebody break a glass, I don't tap my wife, hey babe, get up, go see what's happening. Right? That manhood doesn't come with that option. And so part of my manhood also is defined by who I got to battle with. Men. If I walk up to Tone and I'm a real man, and this is not a judgment, gay men have their own rules and they're not being held by those same standards. Although I still hold gay men to some men's standards. But when I walk up to Tone and I greet him, how I speak, how I stand, and how I represent myself is going to change our interaction. When I engage women, how I speak, how I stand, and how I change my tone. And for my daughter has never had me fuss at her a day in my life. I've never raised my voice to my daughter. When I said, Zizi, that's all she gets. Am I lying? She don't get no profanity. She don't get no harsh words. She don't get any harsh language. But you know why I get all the respect when I walk? The other night, she was throwing the biggest tantrum in the world about going to bed. She does it almost every night. She don't go to bed. I don't know where she gets that from. Anyway, but point is this. She's throwing this big ass tantrum right before. Listen, hey man, this ain't time. Don't be trying to steal my stuff.
Texting me 2 a.m.
Come on, man, move on, man. Come on, let's not start no cap session. Let's move on. Kind of like Pastor Chris getting petty. What is this? So the thing is this. Because this is what I got to deal with, y'all. I need some empathy. What is this? So she's literally screaming, and she's revving up and she's screaming. I walk in the room, she goes, and Dad, I just don't feel like Mama's giving me a chance. I didn't even I just walked in the room, and Dad, I just don't understand why she just won't let me go stay up a little bit longer. I just want to read a couple more books. I earned that from my masculinity. So when I show up here, you got a man showing up in front of you. I'm not going to ever be your woman friend, your girlfriend. But the information I'm giving, when I sit with the women masters I sit with, and I know some bad women masters all the way up to billionaire women, the conversations ain't changed. Yeah. They ain't changed. Now, there may be some areas you need it, and guess what? You subsidize that. But I can't subsidize, because what you'll find is sometimes this thing that women are asking for, it's not how this game works out here. When you're a wolf out here, either you know how to fight or not. And the women wolf I know, like I can name some wolves right now that if they came in here this room, if Rain Free was in here right now and your shit ain't right, she'll take you down just as fast as any man could take you down.
Tear your head off.
Right? And yet she'll put on that pretty outfit and jump in her clean ass car and go home with her husband on a drop of a dime. So what I'm trying to explain to you, like, I killed this male-centric stuff in my office even. You know why? Because when I send you into space to battle for me, I don't need you to be a woman. I need you to be a king, a queen. I need you to be a battler. Once you start shrinking yourself and changing the dynamics and altering the perception of masculine and femininity and making that a variable in your conversation, that's the same thing with black and white the same way. If I send you black person in a space with a white person, you better come out there, well, as a black person, no, then you wasn't qualified. I don't want to hear this no more. Because at the end of the day, the reason I stand so strong against this, because it's a shrinking yourself in the position of that comment before we get there. Now, if you say, could we, as a mother trying to manage my children and I need more, that's not what this class is for. I can give you some things that may apply to that. And there's some things as a mother, I promise you, I can't really, I see women as, both of us have powers. Both of us, God gave us both superpowers. Like all life come through y'all. Like I don't care what we talk about, how strong our muscles is. We're never top that all life comes through your channel. To me, that's still the most. Y'all watch that when a baby's born, it goes straight to the breast and know where to eat. Like that's the most amazing thing. There's so many layers to that, right? Y'all also are the peace and balance of society. Meaning when men are ready to kill ourselves, y'all can walk in the room when we put our guns down. Like y'all have powers that are beyond imagination. What I want to focus on when I bring a woman on my team is bring your power to the table so we can collaborate through our diversity and win the battle. And so when I'm teaching this class, I can't. And if I taught something that you feel like, yo, you missed the one. Now, if you got offended, okay, let me go back to I don't care about people getting offended about that masculine and feminine stuff, because that's not my goal. My goal is to give you tools and techniques, no matter if you young, old, short, black, white, Asian, Filipino, LGBTQ plus, you're a beast. And that's my goal. And so the male centric, and then the sports and there's a reason we talk about working out all the time. Because I'm gonna ask you some questions. Let's have some fun.
Can I just clarify before you say, because I feel like it's going in a different direction. I don't have any problem with male centricity, and I reference it later on in the slides. I just think sometimes there are women doing amazing things in the entrepreneur space, and I think it brings a different tonality to the conversation, but we don't really hear about it. Or if we give examples, it may be athletes. Like I just want to round it out a little bit so it's a little more robust. I don't have any problem with that on its face, and certainly nothing wrong with working out and going to the gym. I'm just saying I feel like there's perspectives that women founders, women entrepreneurs, and using them as examples can bring into the conversation that enrich the tone.
So I have a question. So let's second order that. Say we brought in women and women entrepreneurs' perspectives to the conversation. Hold on, let me give some props to. Hey, come here, man.
Hey, sorry, those are your line. That's nephew there, so we like to show him some love.
Next time.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get you back next time. Say we did. Would you in turn get it? Would that be what you need to click to get you to step up and be at another level? With just that alone, just a woman, then what does it matter? If the nuggets are there, the nuggets are the nuggets are the nuggets. The vehicle in which we choose to deliver the nuggets, what does the vehicle matter as long as it gets to you? Because my perspective, I can only give you, we talked about objective truth and subjective truth. Everyone's opinion, everyone's ideologies, their thought processes are all subjective. It's relative. So they can only give you the perspective from what they have. No other perspectives. But the goal is, with that perspective comes the tools, the knowledge you need to absorb it. But the color of the car, the size of the rims, all that, I wish you was on 20s. I wish you was an SUV and not a. As long as the meat is in there, like Jesus. Okay, come on now. Like, I'm not even comparing. So Chris, please don't. But I think when I read this, I thought about how, like, if you read the Bible, the parts where Jesus was in the mix, right? He was trying to get the people to get stuff, right? So all his illustrations was about wheat, weeds, sheep, goats, stuff that everybody knew about. Everybody know about a sheep. Everybody know about a goat. Everybody mess with wheat. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order to teach a whole bunch of people, you have to speak on a topic that most people know. And you have to be really abreast at it. You have to really know the nuances of it in order to even speak to it. We don't get paid to do this. I don't get paid to do, so this is not my job, right? So all we can do is give you our best work with the tools we have and continue to try to get better. But the man part, I'm not even going to speak on, because I'm not even going to acknowledge that. I'm a man, and I'm a man coming to you with these tools. And do you want the tools or nah? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to, if it's that important for you to get a female's perspective, we ain't the two dudes you know what I'm saying? Like,
go get it.
Like, this is the Flintstones. This is Barney Rubble.
The cost of those women too is so outside of the scope. Those women don't show up and just share. Right, they don't volunteer. Like, if you could call resources out to those women, say, "Hey, I want you to come out to Hope," and then they want to say, "Well, here's my fees. I'm going to show up, and here's my requirements." Yeah. And I'm looking at you like, "Okay, Kaja, you got us."
I'm not asking for you to bring women and sit them at the podium. I'm saying, when we look at books, when we look at podcasts,
I've given women podcasts.
There's so many.
I've given so many women books and podcasts. The funny part is, are you really engaged? Because I've given some great ones. I've gotten calls from women going, "Yo, that woman is cold blooded."
Emotional agility.
Estee Lauder. The book on that you guys.
Me and Shabisha did the art. No, not that one.
The book I didn't like.
The science of getting them
stuck. Like, I'm always the behavior science on the neuroscience. What's the name? The famous, I can't even, Lisa Feldman or something. The behavior scientist that I base a lot of these classes on, her stuff. Brene Brown. I've given out, like, every time I find the black woman who's one of those women in your list was one in our podcast, right? Yeah. So, like, I'm always giving out women when I find, because I'm always, here's the thing that's, okay, let me show you something that you didn't say that other people said before. Why are these white people? And guess what I said? Yo, come on, at some point, if I'm starving and I need this food, and you say, "Hey, I don't really eat white bread."
Man, if you don't eat,
bruh, I thought you like that's the point is, like, this type of knowledge you're getting, unfortunately, is not curated that slim. And when I do find pieces from other people, books from other people, I don't really have a gender preference or race preference. I'm looking at is the information. Look, some of my favorite books are written by, my favorite podcast is by Jews. Another favorite podcast is by a white dude. I listen to a whole bunch of women when it comes to behavior science. And I also listen to a woman in econ and a man in econ. I don't have a preference. It's who owns the information. And here's the thing, I'm going from today's stuff all the way back to 100 years study material. I'm doing multiple disciplines to kind of narrow it down and chisel it down to, like, this is the most valuable information that I can actually transfer to class. When I first started teaching class, I was just really grabbing books that were ranked really high and going, yeah, that's true. I kind of see that. Yeah. And then he'd tell you, I cut out hella books. I was like, I can't teach this book anymore. There's too many flaws in this book, right? Because as I learned more, I made sure I upgraded and changed and enhanced the lesson to go in the process. But I sit at the feet of some powerful women that I go to, that I ask for mentoring. And when I go to them, I don't say, I don't need to hear a woman's perspective. Now, let me tell you where women do have a better perspective. In my experience, now I can't say this for all women, all men. In my experience, women have a tendency to not tunnel as much, and they have more empathy. So a lot of times a man could be like, I don't like him. I'm like, well, did you think about this? And like, oh, yeah, okay, I didn't think about that. So he helped me stop tunneling. But most of the time, the conversations is just like talking to him or talking to Pastor Chris. It's not overweighted. When I talk to Rain Free or any of these women that I know are performing, we're very into strategies and techniques and approaches. And when they need something that's more gender specific,
Find a woman.
then they go talk to a woman that gets into a gender specific conversation. I don't even know how to go seek that out because I wouldn't know what like a woman's missing in the area, because in the end, I expect women to tell me what they need or show up in certain spaces because I spent my whole life training to be that man. I never took time to say, like, I listen to women all the time and because I love women, but I'm
not saying nothing.
Yeah, I like women, but I love women, but I also I can't walk in your shoes because there's things you guys go through premenopause. That's wild. Like I was sitting with a group of women yesterday talking about premenopause, and it was so fascinating but so powerful at the same time. To the point I sat through the whole conversation and was asking questions like I'm a kid in the audience. Mm-hmm. Because it's a powerful process that a woman goes through, right? Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, yeah. So in the end, I think that once again, this is to go further into this point. That's another agency conversation, which is I'm putting out stuff. If you listen to all the podcasts, this kind of seems weird to me, but if you're not, then I can have Sydney put together all the women pieces and send them back to you. But two, wherever we're not providing for any of you in any space, go get it.
Yeah, and just from another perspective is my experience too with women at high levels in conversation, high level entrepreneurial women doesn't feel any different than talking to high level entrepreneurial men. The mindset's the same.
Yeah.
It's radical responsibility.
Oh my God.
It's radical responsibility, and the emotions are low.
Yeah.
And it's all about data and strategy. So it's like, and sometimes I'll catch myself like, man, like you're a beast, And it's like, no, I'm not a beast. I'm an entrepreneur. Because an entrepreneur is a particular mindset that you have to rise up into, and you have to almost let go of certain things. Because you think men ain't emotional. So a lot of men are just as emotional or even more emotional
fragile,
than
actually.
females.
Men are more fragile.
So entrepreneurism is not just for men. It's a psychology that you have to have. So whether if I see a high performing woman or a man, they all kind of start thinking and speaking the same way. Numbers, data, quick, get to the point. Feelings, I don't even know, like, stop that. You know what I'm saying? Take responsibility. No blaming, no beating around the bush. It's all about getting to the point. And so, like, if we get back to the original intention of this is what tools can we share that we have from our experience? We're here not giving you fluff or ideas or trying to be popular. It's, we looked around and was like, wait a minute. Ain't nobody really doing this. Who's doing this? Do you know any? Man, we got to help our people.
Dude, that's it.
I don't know I don't know everything. I'm not the all-knowing of anything. Like I bumped my head through entrepreneurship. And to get from zero to multi-millions in entrepreneurship from where I came from, and then you look around and be like, I want more people that look like us doing this. I don't know everything, but maybe I can share what I do have with somebody and they can merge it with what they have, and it can be more people getting up there and knocking it down. That's all. I'm not trying to be nobody's Dr. Phil. I'm just saying, hey, I got some tools. You got some? Let's change these tools. Oh shit, that's dope. It works. Let's share it with you. You want it? Here, take it. And let me know what happened. And that's and beyond that, we don't got nothing.
Go ahead, Brenda.
A quick little anecdote, because the way I see this, it's more about being uncomfortable and how to work through being uncomfortable. I used to be a PE teacher, and you would see a lot of the boys playing football and basketball, and the girls would be like, I'm not an athlete, but then they're all doing dance, which is just as hard, if not harder, in a lot of ways. So it's just a different perspective. And you have someone like Lynn Swan, who was a receiver for the NFL, and then he started taking ballet, and then he took off and became one of the best wide receivers ever, just because of doing that in something that was more looked at as something that women do. So I think it's more when you're able to cross those sides of being uncomfortable, whether you are male or female, whether it's yoga or things like that, where a lot of times we're like, oh man, yoga's nothing. And you go in there and then you drench in sweat and you realize you can't stretch. And you're like, oh wow, this is harder than being under a barbell. So I think as humans, we're all athletes. We're all creative. We're all, whether you're an artist, whether you're a poet, all these different things. A lot of times we put ourselves in those boxes of what it means to be an athlete or what it means to be a creator. But really, there's so many different ways to show those talents.
Hey, in the gym thing, take your ass to the gym.
Or leave.
Stop playing.
No,
take your ass
really
to the
not an option.
Really
take your ass to the gym.
I can't
and
begin to
stop
tell you,
playing.
going the mind to come into this world, you're not gonna make it without not being in the gym.
Take your ass to the gym.
Hey,
and stop
we
playing.
had this conversation, and okay, let me say something real quick. She was coming to class. I'm gonna share some of that personal observation. She was coming to class all the time, but she was still like a Tasmanian devil. Remember I used the word I had? That's her. Anyway, point is this. And so she was Tasmanian devil. You know how she worked on her anger? She started martial arts. The reason she's been calmer for the last year, like she's been getting calmer and calmer and calmer, she gets her knees kicked in and shit like that, right? But that's where she had to subsidize this. This doesn't mean she stopped coming here. She needed more subsidies because of her background, her experiences, and her past, right? What I'm saying is that we have to have agency over our own life and use this as a resource. But if we try to become your try to become your entrepreneur class, an incubator, a finance department, and your personal trainer, any organization that does everything does nothing well.
It's all complicated.
I remember when Pastor Chris one day called me, he was like, yo, now I understand why you told me to go to the gym. Now I understand. I hate this. He said, I hate running. I hate it.
He runs too.
But I get up, the discipline that it builds to get up and do something you hate is preparing you for entrepreneurship when the boat starts sinking. Mm-hmm. When water gets into your boat and it looks bad and you have to click into auto mode and just start getting that water out your boat when your boat's sinking at the same time. You know what helps you do that? Them last reps in the gym, or that last exhausting mile, or your brain starts telling you, hey, you too old for this, or you about to break down. Remember that injury you had? It's about that time. It'll talk you into anything to get you to stop. And you running is telling your brain, shut up. I'm doing this.
It really is.
And then one day, what's going to happen if y'all really doing it? Y'all really listening and you really about it? One day in entrepreneurship, something's going to hit you. And all your childhood trauma is going to hit you, and your fears of going broke again is going to rain back down, and you'll be scared and shaking, and something in your mind is going to say, shut up. We doing this. Mm-hmm. And you know where that comes from? The only place it comes from? Going to the gym. So when we said it, it wasn't about you getting in shape. Mm-mm. It's about you training your mind.
Fortitude.
It was when I first met this dude on the phone, I know he goes to the gym just based on the mentality. You know I hit the weights based on the mentality. You can't not, there's no other place where you can get that unless you were in the military.
And you got to work out there too.
Or places where you had strict discipline for long periods of time that pushed you way past your limits. So this is voluntary mental conditioning beyond, because you don't know what you're going to experience. We didn't know we was going to experience this. Just didn't know. So I ain't playing with this. I ain't playing with this. This is not voluntary. Take your ass to the gym.
Let me say one thing that I don't think I've ever said about the gym too. Do you know when you're in business, it's 1,000 steps. Am I lying? Anybody in business? It's 1,000 steps. Yeah. 1,000 steps. You know what the gym does? It resets you and it makes it feel like just one stab and you're fresh again. If I don't go to the gym, those stabs will add up and I'll start moving in depression. The gym resets me psychologically. I need the gym to say, shake it off, or let me clear. Like when I'm on my bike ride, I can be like, there's so much is going on. I'm so stressed out. Oh my God. And then about 30 minutes, 45 minutes of my bike ride, I'm like, but I could solve it this way. I could change it that. I can change. It's removing the 1,000 stabs. And I don't think no one's ever said that you just staying in there and working hard, it will literally wear you out. And when I see burnouts, it's because people have imbalances. They want to just work all the time and they're literally physically dying and their mind starts to follow with a burnout. And this happens to all kind of entrepreneurs. So for entrepreneur to keep that fire, that drive and that hunger, and they said a dull man will never run a successful business. And in order to keep you sharp in your mind, the gym is sharpening.
Come on, blood.
It's absolute sharpening.
Come on, blood. And I'm gonna get off at this point, but there are times when you're exhausted, don't feel like doing nothing, but you had it on your calendar to go to the gym. So you walk into the gym and like, man, I do not feel like being here. You see people, hey, how you doing? How you doing? I don't feel like being here. What's up? Yeah. But guess what? You are mentally pushing yourself to do something that you hate or don't want to do. And a lot of times, you'll have the best workout. You'll be the strongest you've been. Yeah. And that's training your mind like, man, can't nothing hold me. And it helps you realize that you are not your mind. Your mind is just a collection of ideas and memories and causes and effects, but you are not your mind. So you can tell your mind no. Tell your mind you tripping. Nope, you trying to play games with me. We're going to go here still anyway, and you got to figure it out. Like you have to push yourself physically. Plus, the body leads sometimes the mind. If you sit there and shrug your shoulders in a depressed state, a lot of us in this room will start feeling depressed. But if you in the practice of doing something like working out or running or something, you get dopamine from progress. Man, look, my muscle is just a little bit bigger, or I lost 2 pounds, or I can see my shape changing.
Or I could walk up the stairs without breathing hard.
That is so important for entrepreneurship.
Go ahead.
Talk this much in class. One thing I'll say about a person who just got introduced to the workout field by herself without a trainer, I'm serious. I've only been doing it for about 3 weeks, but I've been consistent, and I'm telling you, my procrastination dwindling, me being inconsistent dwindling, me waiting to the last minute dwindling, because it's such a. And then I'm keeping my routines. Like beforehand, I started working 3 a.m. I would stay up to 10. Then I wake up like, oh, my alarm go off, snooze, snooze, snooze. I got 4 alarms set because I would stay up so late, and then I'd be like, okay, I got to go to sleep now, so I got to force myself to sleep. But working out, I said, you know what, Joy? Let's try going to bed at 7 o'clock. I went to bed at 7. I woke up at 1:30. I beat my alarm, and I said, oh, well, let's move our rituals up of what we do in the morning. And per our conversation, I keep talking about the conversation because it's life-changing for me. Per the conversation, I got a certain ritual that I do. I ain't gonna share with y'all because y'all gonna pause me. But I stand in my mirror. Seriously, I stand in my mirror and I write stuff down because he opened the window for me to see something that I never seen before. So I write stuff down and I work on those. So working out has started all this. It's not just about going to the gym working out because I didn't start in the gym. I was doing calisthenics against my wall. And then I bought the weights. And then I said, Joy, stop your fear. What is your fear? It helped me with my fear of going to the gym. And I went to the gym, like I said, and I asked for help. So working out is not just working out. Yeah. It's like a life changer, a game changer. And he said it to me before, and I used to be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And I heard it in class before, and I looked down. He was like, well, call and ask her some questions. And I was like, oh, okay, I will. Never did. I got trainers in my family. Never did. But now I'm doing it by myself, and it's such I'm Queen Kong. I'm beating on my chest because I'm doing it. And my posture already good. So I'm like, yo, once I get this little belly off and tone these thighs, I'm about to be everything. I tell myself that every day. I didn't put this weight on overnight, and I'm not going to lose it overnight, so the process is trusted. I love it.
Can I?
Go ahead. Okay. Here's Scott. Scott did Pastor Chris.
Just real quick from a neuroscience level, because we study this at the office. You have two types of neurological fibers in your nervous system. You have afferent and efferent. So afferent goes in, efferent goes out. There's 10 times more nerves that go into your brain than goes out. So you can change your behavior with your mindset, but it's 10 times harder to do it. Every behavioral change will affect your mindset 10 times more. So if you want to change in culture, if you want to learn to write, if you want to learn how to ride a bike, whatever you got to do, you have to start with the behavior. Just thinking about it is going to be 10 times harder to do it.
And last but not least, to me, I feel like it disconnects me from the petty posting when I first started going to the gym. It was like, hashtag gym life, hashtag, bro, you only got like 2 days in. Like, like fall back. And so I was seeing even in that, how I was looking for these cheap wins and this external validation. And I could say I wasn't, but internally I was. And so it was like, dude, put your phone down. If you win there, it'll compound. And so like I just picked up my phone right now. 109 classes this year. Mile time, 6:54. I wasn't running no 6:54 in high school, ever. And last but not least, no more medication. No more blood pressure, no more cholesterol. I plan to walk her down the aisle. So it's just like and ideas fire crazy in the gym. Like, I can't figure this out. Something about the benches and the treadmill and the CS4, it starts to come through a solution thing. And it was one of the ones in year one I thought was ancillary, but now it's absolutely necessary.
Can I get a amen?
You're sitting on it, you're going to play that no matter what.
And let me hit, okay, go ahead. Then we hit the next line.
I just want to say that I'm biased. Y'all all know I own a gym. But I do want to share something that I think is so valuable. So for y'all that didn't know me before I owned a gym, I was a big girl. I was 268 pounds. Before I came to 510 Media, I lost my daughter. She died.
Sorry, that doesn't make you thinner, okay? Just I don't be getting happy because I might be bigger than you. Go ahead. See,
I was a big girl. I was big. Which look, but I was really depressed. And I had lost my daughter, and I was lost. I didn't have family. I didn't have community. Damn sure didn't have hope. But you know what was crazy? When I first met Nana, I was in the gym for 3 hours a day, and my body wasn't changing. This is before I was a trainer. And I was a whole size 18. Damn. But I was fighting, literally. I was fighting for my life. And like, I want to be really serious about this because I think it's really big. It's so easy to play small, these things. I was fighting for my life, and I didn't make a change about what I was going to get out of the gym until I almost died and my daughter had to save me. And she was 3 years old, and I had an asthma attack, and I couldn't do anything for her. And I literally sat there for what felt like hours on hours with not being able to do anything. And I had to wait for her to run a football field's distance to the car to get my inhaler because I had got so caught up into this depression, so caught up in myself and what I was going through that I didn't prioritize anything. And I say that to say, you could go to the gym. If you don't have an intention for that time at the gym, it doesn't matter. You could go to the gym. You could sweat and you can do all of the things. But if you are sabotaging yourself, if you are not recovering, if you are not putting good into your system, if you are not eating right, sleeping, doing all of the things, the gym doesn't matter. It is not the act of going to the gym why all entrepreneurs that reach a certain success point say that. It's not the physicality. The reason why every single entrepreneur that has made it to a certain level of success says it is because once you decide what that value and purpose is from going to the gym, that turns into rocket fuel. And when you decide, I'm not doing this from a passive space, but I'm doing this because I know that this helps me build integrity, this helps me build consistency, this is going to expand my horizon for what I do outside of the gym, that's when it becomes magical. And to the point of the comment on the slide, I don't personally perceive this as a male-centric class. I feel that power and influence speak a certain language. And when you get to a certain point, you're going to use the same language because it's a different rhythm. And so when I was first coming to this class, I was toe up from the flow up, y'all. But you know what? I had so much forgiveness, so much people that didn't judge me. They was just like, this po baby. I was the person that would come into the room and people would literally be like, oh my gosh, Shakina's coming. Literally, like it would hurt my feelings. It would hurt my feelings so bad. And but I was used to spending 3 hours in the gym. So I didn't care that people thought that of me. I didn't care that people was like, oh my God, well, she shut up. I was like, y'all gonna hear me because I promise I'm gonna get what I need out of this because I got a daughter to fight for. I now have a very clear why on what the heck I'm here to do. And I think that it's just, could there be other things? Yes, there's always multiple things. I doubt that there is anybody in this room or anybody listening that can resonate with that time that they did something that they thought was unfathomably unreachable and they did it. And moving your body and the mindset that it takes to do something challenging is something that everybody can resonate with, even if that's not their mindset right then. And I think that that's why that will always be a part of the conversation when it comes to entrepreneurship, because we're not here to play with chew toys. We're here because we snapping necks in the wild. And in order to survive, you got to have that grit in you. And if you can't understand, even if that's not at your phase and stage right now, but that's where you need to get to, then there's going to be a disconnect because you have to embrace that. Even if you're not there, that's where you got to get to. And if you're not there, to run towards it and figure out everything in your power to, because that's going to be your supercharge to get you past whatever things that you're struggling with. But it really is so much more than the physicality.
So real quick, I'm going to the next one. Side, no, go back. Same slide. We didn't finish that one. Real quick, you know, one of our brothers who's really close to us, on our last retreat, Court wasn't there. He had picked up some weight. He was a little too overweight. He has addiction to sugar. Like, we'll go to breakfast and he'll have a cookie before we get to breakfast and have pancakes. Am I lying, Pastor Chris? And then for lunch, he'll have a soda or something with his food. Simple serve. Yeah, simple serve. Bruh. And so we sat him down and said, nah, we're going to stop. This is going to be serious. You got to bring your weight down. Now, this is entrepreneurs telling entrepreneurs, you got to bring your weight down. You got to work on this sugar thing, because this in itself is compromising you. And you're going to feel it as you start to progress in your career, as well as you're a family man. You won't be around to see your kids. You got to put that sugar down. And we spent the whole time every day drilling him to the point that he sends us an email like a month later, like, fellas, I'm working on it. I heard you, right? Entrepreneur stuff is, if your mind, body, and spirit is not being enhanced, you're going to suffer at making business decisions. Now, let me ask y'all a quick question. Tell me what is business without people?
A thought.
Huh?
A thought.
No such thing, right? Like business is people engaging people, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Just let me know if I'm wrong. Somebody say, because I'm open to like, hey, now you a little distorted on this one. You breathe too much oxygen. It's important that you don't take too many deep breaths. It's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And stay away from too much oxygen. You know what I'm saying? That's my my Ronald Reagan's wife. You know. Anyway, so how do you remove psychology from people interacting with people in business?
I don't suggest we remove it.
You said we're over indexing.
Right.
So what else is there?
Well, it's on the next slide, but some of the conversation that I've been involved in is like, not that this should be the theme of the class, but some practical things like, I don't know if it's time to do an LLC. When is it time? Should I do an S-Prop? Tax information. Things about my branding and marketing, like some of the tactile things that people have expressed. And I've even thought to myself, I would love to know more about that. But I feel like as this night has gone on, what a through line is this is not a catch-all. You're going to have to go supplement a lot of these things that you want to get. If you want to get more of a woman's perspective, go find that. If you want more tactile information, go find that. This is to give you some foundational information for you to go add on whatever you think is best. But that was what I meant. I'm not suggesting this, you run.
So real quick too, I want to make sure that which should feel natural to you, that the reason I taught this class, not just because of what you wrote, I've heard it other people. So I'm really speaking to everybody. So I'm using your piece to have a broader conversation. And I do want your clarity, but I don't want you to walk away like this is really a 101 or 501, because I've heard it from other people. And I've used this class because the best way to destroy organizations is from the inside. And so when I see a virus growing in the team, I want to have a conversation. And it's not a virus because the people meant bad or wrong intent. There is some information here that I did adjust to and take from it. But also what made me nervous, why I call it tone, is it also tells me something about the people, what they're thinking and how they're stuck in a different paradigm. So in a different paradigm, your points would be 100% accurate. If you switch paradigms, so in corporate America, all these things, I don't think there'd be nothing wrong here. I don't think there'd be nothing for me to say besides, okay, this is what we can do to work on it, right? When you go to entrepreneur, it's almost like saying, as wolves, somebody should feed us more often. Somebody should they should change the quality of our animals. They should probably focus on, we probably need more protein in our cows. So somebody shouldn't get, and the wolves would be looking at you like, we don't know what the hell that means. We don't even, when I was reading this stuff, I was like, I can't really translate some of this because it's not a thing. Okay, practical information, let me give you why psychology is the seed of practical information. Entrepreneurs, I want y'all to speak to this. We have some entrepreneurs who are full-time in the room. Do we all use, when it comes to your practical approaches, what she references practical, do we all use the same strategies?
No.
Are they even close?
No.
Do most businesses use a variation that's different? So if I was to teach that, what variation should I teach? Right? Because when somebody comes to my office, if I talk to you about your business, it will sound nothing like when I talk to her about her business, his business, or anybody else's business in this room. So some of this information, when a marketing company comes to you, a tax preparer comes to you, a person who's trying to get you to be a consultant, it's two-sided. It's two-sided engagement. This is how two-sided engagement works. You got to make decisions whether I can serve you or not, and if I'm BSing you or I'm manipulating you. And what I teach you in this class is how to navigate those relationships when you use those services, right? So if somebody says, no, you should be an LLC, you'll know if you're in this class to say, why? And you'll gain that information. And then maybe at the time, that's the smartest move. Maybe for this other person, sole proprietor. Maybe for this person, S Corp. Maybe for this person, full out corporation, and they're working on a stocks design and all those variables are so easy. They're almost like, what is something that's very common in the force?
Inkfile.com. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're easy things to find. And I don't teach. And when I looked over the lay of the land, I looked at what was killing black entrepreneurs. It wasn't that stuff. Most black entrepreneurs got to that stage and was done. I got my logo, I registered, I chose this, I did that. And I said, okay, so what's your strategy on how you're going to sell your product? Remember I told you a long time ago, the best way to start a business, I didn't say go start LLC. I didn't say go get a logo. I say go sell something. Because that part is the hardest, most complex, difficult, lack of ownership. Because no matter what you believe in, you don't own that engagement. That engagement is a relationship that you have to marry that relationship. And so the psychology that I have to teach is, how do you see people and figure out what does he want? And will he buy my product? And what do I need to do to my product to prepare my product for him to buy it? And then when he negotiates a price, that's psychology. That ain't got nothing to do with, there's no fictional guy that set the price. That's psychology, right? And then if he says he's satisfied or not satisfied, how you engage, that's psychology. And how do you get him to come back again? That's psychology. All this psychology that's so overwhelming in business is the area. Do you realize that economics, when economics says, if you do this, then people should do that. What economics do is they assume the psychology part. Where behavior science came in and says, no, there's multiple variations there. You can't just assume that part. So I'm teaching econ a lot in this class. You know who won an economic Nobel Peace Prize recently before he died? Daniel Kahneman. And he's not an economist. He's a psychologist. When he taught all those principles of framing and prospect theory and all that stuff, he won an economic Nobel Peace Prize. The integration of this stuff is so cold that if you don't understand sales, do you know sales? You know why sales often destroy companies? Sales. You know why sales? Because give me a second. The average salesperson at a company that has strong marketing think that they're good salespeople and they're trash. Because money's just coming to the door. All they do is just open the door and signing contracts and they call themselves selling, right? But if you actually develop a sales teams do this. They create high surges and crazy dips. You know why? Because if that salesperson makes $100,000, well, he ain't gonna sell nothing for the rest of the month. Next 5-6 months. That means we're gonna see a dip in the business, right? And then if I create some type of incentive, that salesperson turns up everything, brings a whole bunch of work, but my team can't handle it. So now my business is compromised because I either outsource some of the work because I internally can't have it. So this up and down is bad for business as opposed to a steadier stream, right? A real salesperson, an excellent salesperson doesn't do sales. They do relationship building. A real salesperson, you know what their number one job is? To grow the company. You never heard that before, huh? I mean, when I hire you, you're not to do sales. And if you hire too many salespeople, you lose the ability for that team member to grow the company because by numbers, based upon psychology, as the numbers grow to a certain point, they go from building relationships to shifting back to sales because there's so many people participating in the same thing because of internal competition and incentives. So all this psychological stuff, do you know if I hired you tomorrow in a certain role, who I assign around you is not because I'm coming with titles and labels, it's because I understand your psychological limitations. And if I give you a supervisor or an agent or assistant, it's because I'm designing those roles to compensate for your psychological shortcomings that you can't control no matter what your degree is and how intelligent you are and how wise you are. These are things if you don't know how they work. And you understand the psychology. So if somebody says, no, how come you didn't go down there and take the pictures? You can take photos. That would make very common sense. But if you understand psychology, it's like, well, Nana, if you do that, that's too much noise for your brain. So who's left running the company? Even in the sales, like me and Sean discussed raising money. He's like, Nana, you probably should be raising money because psychologically you can't do it. Not if I decided, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this, I'm just gonna raise money. Cool. But if I try to raise money and teach the class and run Fight Team Media, can't do it. So I gotta say to myself psychologically as a human being, but in my brain I think I can do everything. Yeah, but psychologically it's not smart. So the reason you gotta understand human behavior and psychology, because even when you're building your laying out, when you're just designing your business, I want a person here, I want a person to do this, I want them to do this, I want to design a system to work like this, that's a psychological method design that you're designing. Because at the end of the day, if those human beings don't follow a course, and you didn't design your incentive systems correctly, you didn't think about the connections and interactions and the spaces they sit in, the color of the room. The color of the room will change performances with human beings. Now and that's all, everything I just said translates to dollars and cents. So if I try to lower the leverage and say, well, let's talk about, I have talked about marketing a lot in this class. You just didn't translate it yet, because once you get out there, you'll hear it. Am I lying? I taught so many marketing principles, because when you have to make those decisions, you got to know which one applies to you and how to understand the principle. Not say, you know what, just go out there, get a beautiful logo and have it modern design. Some businesses do well with a horrible design logo because it suggests we're a great grassroots organization and we're authentic.
But marketing is psychology.
It's all it is.
So remember, this was taught back in 2nd Street, and that was, you're not a clothing company. You're not a photography company. You're not a wine company. You're not, what are you? Let's hear it.
A marketing company.
A marketing company that sells that service or product. So you lead with psychology. Again, in observation of this space, I've known a lot of talented brothers and sisters, a lot of creative brothers and sisters, a lot of brothers and sisters with excellent food, excellent products, excellent music, excellent everything.
Excellent cake too, don't you?
Horrible marketers. But horrible marketers. And what's marketing? Psychology. It's all behavioral psychology. So you have to understand specifically how your market thinks and breathes and talks and acts and walks and what they listen to and what they're doing what they're doing right now, what they're watching on TV, who they're attracted to, who they're not attracted to. You have to know so much about your demographic that when you market to them, it's magnetism, and it's all psychology. Where you do nothing, it's like you can go anywhere and find how to do an LLC. You can go anywhere and find all the other shit, because that's such the easy stuff that they can peddle that everywhere. But you can't walk into everywhere and learn how to make money and sell product, sell the actual product. That's psychology. And if you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing.
Also, I think what separates this class from what people think, like when I tell people I'm at an entrepreneurship class, they think we're learning about what you just said of like, oh, it's teaching about like setting up an LLC and like doing like the tax stuff, and like they think it's just that. So learning the psychology of it is gonna be beyond what is making a logo and things like that if we're trying to do business better, because a lot of unfortunately, there's a lot of black businesses that I see that only focus on those things, and they think they know marketing when they don't, and then that's when their business drops. So it's like it's gonna look different than what we expect to learn, because like they said, a lot of that stuff, when we learn these basic foundations, then we can approach that differently because we have the psychology behind it.
Do you guys remember when I taught the class on thought?
Yes.
I said the most valuable asset to a company is not money, it's thought. That thinking and wisdom is so underserved. I've been like my last 2 classes, I just dedicated to thought. I've always dedicated thought in the class, but I'm really like just gonna really like narrow and tunnel around just how thoughts that we have are just wrong. This is absolutely wrong. Just the process. When I get through with prospect theory, I'm gonna show you how your frustration with white supremacy makes you ignorant to manage your way out of it. Like white people don't need to say nothing. All white people need to do every once in a while be like, yeah, I just hit a black person in the mouth. And you, when it comes time to manage your business decisions, you can't do it. You can't see it anymore. Because the idea is that you're adopting because of your frustration with what's happening in society, makes your models of how to build things corrupt. It corrupts your models of how to build stuff. So psychology thinking is the most valuable asset. It's not a lower asset, and yet it's the only area you can't teach thought in school. You know why? It's hard to teach thought in school. Now, at a higher level to a deeply committed student, yeah, because thought is slow. And if I have to get you from 1 year to 1 year to 1 year to one, the year concept alone is anti-thought. And so a lot of things, the reason a lot of people in this class who have advanced degrees, a lot of people in this class have advanced degrees is like, I ain't never heard this stuff before. And it's not because the school didn't give them knowledge, it's just hard to receive thought. Psychology is psychology you get from a psychologist when you go to therapy is different than psychology we teach in this class. Trust me when I say this. It's a difference. I'm teaching you usable psychology as opposed to like, I can teach you a whole bunch of just really granular principles on self-work. And once again, I think that's where you have to take that responsibility for yourself. That's not what this class is good for. I'm giving you tools that are really tied to interaction, relationship, judgment, and decision-making. Even the word, like when Josiah said, they think we teach logos. How do you know it's a good logo versus a bad logo unless you understand psychology? There's no way in the world you know the difference. How do you know a font is a good font versus a bad font? How do you know that email translates that you should just use every day if you don't understand psychology of the email that you just sent out? And when you send out you can't say, well, I like it. You ain't paying all your bills. You got to think about all the human beings you're going to engage. Because at the end of the day, business needs trust to work, right? How do you know that all your actions are not reinforcing trust? Watch this. We at the gym. Me and Sean went to the gym today, and I said, so he showed me a picture of a gym in LA. It's sexy, right? And he's like, yo, you go to the gym, everybody's training intense. Everybody's working out. Like, there ain't no phones. Everybody's getting it, right? It's almost like the whole gym's in competition mode. This is a big box gym. I said, the reason 24 Hour Fitness is failing, they don't understand psychology. If 24 Hour Fitness understands psychology, they realize that the gym is not these weights, it's the culture. And when you can create a culture that says, move a certain way, this is what we do. Now, how do you create a culture? It's going to be everything that gyms have to signal that culture. So there's not a person walking around talking about, this is our culture, sign the contract. Everything in that environment has to psychologically signal, this is where we do what we do. So now that same barbell and dumbbell just changed its meaning. You see where I'm going with this? But the reason that dumbbell and barbell is just a dumbbell and barbell at 24 Hour Fitness, because they're not engaging the psychological part of culture. So it means it's a failing business because they don't understand the psychology. It's just that simple. So the trick about it, did he just walk out like he's in church? You know how they be in church, they bow their heads and then they walk out. He just missed the finger. But anyway. He gonna text me like, "Oh, you so petty." So at the end of the day, there is no way in the world to. It's the part that no one knows how to teach, and that's the part. Oakland is not suffering. Okay, here's another one, real quick. Then we go home. So somebody was talking to me the other day about Richmond. And they was like, in Richmond, I want my tax dollars to go towards fixing the potholes in my neighborhood because I pay taxes. And I said, well, first of all, I hate activist thinking. He said, what do you mean? It's because activists always tunnel. It's a flaw of activism. It forces you to tunnel. I'll get into that in later classes. I said, let me give you an example of how you're tunneling. I said, have you calculated the cost of crime? What's the cost of crime to the city? What's the cost of graffiti? What's the cost of dumping? What's the cost of parents not managing their kids? What's the cost of broken down culture? By the time you get to that, how much money you have left over to fix your streets? Meaning that if a city has to become a strong city, it has to create a culture where the people participate in the rules and a rhythm that brings the cost down so the money can be invested in schools and other things, right? But if the parents are not going to the school, like for example, if all the parents in Oakland start participating in schools, right? And I'm talking about schools have to sort that out because some parents you'd be like, ooh, I'm not sure we want you here. But let's say parents participate in schools. All of a sudden, that behavior changes. And then the behavior changes, now schools can invest in other things that they've been spending money to keep up this whole time or repair or fix, right? So even in running a city, if you don't get that cultural thing right, the culture alone can bankrupt the city, meaning that people's psychology can bankrupt a city. So if you think about managing a city, you think about, okay, we're gonna put this over here, put this over here. But what psychologically, what would that call? What would be the problem? Who's not gonna like it? Who's gonna feel they're being disrespected? You see all these psychological elements that we gotta think about when we're managing money, people, resources. The stock market is psychological. First thing anybody in the stock market would tell you, wait, he must have left his Bible. But first, psychologically, the first thing they tell you, that's my brother. But I promise you, I'm get a petty text. You heck a petty. but the thing is that, so what I'm trying to explain to you that there is nothing you can think of, you can name that doesn't have to do with human beings. That if you leave the psychological element out, you at a disadvantage. However, in all fairness, because I know you have a career, when you work in an office, it's harder to see. It's harder to see. It's so hard to see. Because I remember when I was working in the office, I didn't see it at all. It's when I came into the wild, we're like, oh, when I stand in front of you, how do I need to dress to get you to buy my product? How do I need to speak? At what speed do I need to speak? What do I need to do? Even in dating, if a man walks up to you and if he doesn't know how to talk, he can be a good man or bad man. But psychologically, he has to figure out that cue just to have the conversation start so the possibilities can happen. So the reality is that psychology is at the core of everything. See, you need Tennille, I need you to bring some water and water her down a little bit because she. So the reality is that the opposite class is a nonprofit class. Nonprofits teach that. If you go to a nonprofit right now, there's so much nonprofits. You say, hey, I want to take a nonprofit incubator on that stuff. And they can teach that because it's kind of common knowledge. You can look that up. The stuff that I'm teaching is stuff that I can't find anybody to teach this. And trust me, y'all think I'm playing. The first day I find someone, I'm like, yo, that cat's solid. I'm like, where did Nana go? Hey, y'all better catch me when you can because I'm gone. But it's just that because I want to see my people win. And I realize that my last point is that slavery and Jim Crow is not destroying us because of racism. It's some strong person that's stopping us. Slavery and Jim Crow is destroying us because it's baked into our psychology. And if we don't see that, I'm watching black people fail every day and blaming racism, and it's not even. I told a black dude this weekend. I said white people bark is louder than they bite, but as soon as they bark, you swear to God they're a wolf, and it's a puppy around the corner because your brain takes every dog bark as the wolf is coming. So as long as your brain frames the white man as your God, your devil that's going to destroy you, you won't even see your opportunities. So if I don't approach this from psychological, just tell you, okay, when you go in business, just do, which there's no such thing. But if I say, if you go to business, just do A, B, C, D, F, G, and don't take consideration that the first white guy that walks in front of you, you're going to crumble? The first man that walks in front of you, you're going to crumble? The first straight person that walks in front of a gay person, you're going to crumble? Then I didn't serve you. And so those are challenges. Most black people don't feel like they're good enough. One thing I've learned from this class, most black people don't feel like they're good enough. So when I'm working with everybody in this class, I'm taking that into consideration on my psychological approach. Now, if you don't know, you don't think you're good enough, you can get as hype as you want. It's almost like you ever been this way, you hella hype at the house, and as soon as you touch the door, you're like, and tomorrow. like literally. Because so at the end of the day, if you don't deal with that psychological element,
I'm gonna say this. Remember, how can I serve you? Remember the first time I said it? The gasp that was in the room? It was a gasp in the room. What? Serve? Hell no. I'm not serving nobody. I ain't no slave. Remember that? Against popular opinion, I doubled down on saying, I don't care. You know why you losing? It's because you're not of service. And you put conditions, even if you are of service, you put conditions on it. Well, okay, I will, but it got to do it. And if you to say something crazy, I ain't doing. That's why we losing as a culture. We can't copy the other cultures, what they're doing, especially the ones that are already established. We have to start where we stand, and that's being of service. If you want to be successful in business, you have to look outward at who are you targeting, and the people you're targeting are the people you're there to serve. So a lot of this too is if you approach this from a service mentality, like, man, I'm being served. Remember the 5 stages of entitlement? 5 stages of entitlement. It starts with appreciation. Man, y'all don't have to do this. This is amazing. This is beautiful. I'm learning this and this. Y'all don't have to do this at all. And then, but you see the consistency, then it turns into what? Expectation. Well, the next one's anticipation, right? Anticipation is like, okay, we come. Then it goes to expectation. I expect. Then once you get past expectation, then they start picking you apart because it's entitlement at this point. You should be showing up better. You need to show up for me like this.
And then it's dependency.
And I remember I was talking to this girl and she said, "You ain't showing up for me how I need you to show up for me." I said, "Don't show up at my house no more."
Drops the mic.
The fuck out my face. Like, what? See what I'm saying? You ain't showing up for me how I need you to show up for. My eyes start twitching because we're at entitlement already. And so once somebody gets to entitlement, that's where corruption happens. That's where you start getting corruption and corroded in the environment, and the culture starts getting corrupted. Our culture is corrupted by entitlement. Entitlement of stuff we don't even have. We're copying other movements from other people. So the how can I serve you is the antidote for entitlement. It's the antidote because you have to start with appreciation again. You know what? Let me think about this. Wait, I'm grateful for this. Thank you. I appreciate this. Here's all the reasons why. Your partner, people you in love with, your kids, everybody. Meal comes, you eat it. Meal comes, you eat it. And food comes, you eat it. Versus like the food comes and it's good every night. I appreciate the fact that you do this every night. Thank you. Every night. Because it resets you back to of a service mentality. If you have a how can I serve you, then it's hard for you to get to entitlement. And that, I think that's what we've been like. If this class was a puzzle and you start putting the pieces together and you see over in the corner what we've been trying to do, it's prevent all of us from getting entitled and to stay in that appreciation space, because successful entrepreneurship is all about how can I serve you in appreciation to the customers. Minus that, you ain't got nothing.
Any feedbacks, any comments before we close out tonight? I want to get to her suggestions, but it's 9:27, and Josh is already signaling. You can see how he's rubbing his hair. He's losing it because he's rubbing it so much. But the point is this, and so I want to make sure that we are acknowledging that. And did y'all notice Pastor Chris brought his beautiful daughter to class tonight? Yeah. Man, hey, that touched my heart, man. You see them grow up, and she's just a beautiful person, man. So your dad is our favorite. You got one of the greatest. I know sometimes it's just your dad, and you like, he's one of our favorite people in the whole world. Yes. If somebody doesn't love your dad, run.
Something wrong with him.
Run. Don't even ask no questions. That's the most like he's one of the people that, hey, you know how back in the days they pull the earrings off and go out and put the Vaseline and go out there and start fighting. Pastor Chris get me out there fighting. I'm serious. That's how much I love that man. So he's a great gift to your family, but he's a great gift to all of us. So just know your dad is absolutely amazing. I apologize for all the cursing he did.
No,
you know
he
what I'm
was
saying?
too.
No, come on, man.
He was
It's
too.
just mind tricks, baby. You look here.
He was too.
Look, red pill. so I apologize for him. With that being said, I hope you guys understand this. This really wasn't. I think Kaja has always been a voice that said things others may not say.
Mm-hmm.
And if she had just wrote this to me and I just thought it was her, I probably would have called her and you guys would never heard about this. But I realized Tone had echoed that, Charlize had echoed that. I heard some other people kind of echo. They didn't say everything, but they said little subtleties. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes because I do talk to people, but it wasn't coming back. So I took some time to have this class, but also to reset, understand what is the value and the context of what we're doing here. And the reality is that too, also to remind you guys that you guys are entrepreneurs in the making. Some of you guys are entrepreneurs in the business. You don't remember the dog versus the wolf? When the wolf walks up to the dog, he says, "That's your house. That's your food, that's your backyard." And he saw the chain around his neck and he ran, right? Meaning that we don't get the dog house. We don't get all the food. We don't get the curation. What we got to do is we get certain elements in the wild and then we go build. That I don't know how to tell you this any other way. Like it's God and then us. Like it's just literally God gave us an earth. We build on his earth and then we create what we can create on that earth, right? We answer to people, we serve others, we answer to the community, we make sure that we're there to do God's work on this earth. But there is a person can come out of prison and be an entrepreneur. You don't get somebody who gives you a review. You know what your review is? Customers do or don't show up, or you do or don't make money. That's your review. There is nobody who's going to give you an A, B, C, or whatever. Either you perform or you don't. You could be any race you want to be. You could be any age, any gender, any whatever. It doesn't matter. Google was originally ran by Russians, and then now it's ran by Indians. It's like, when I go to Google, I don't think about none of that stuff. As long as Google now is on my, they can put Gemini on my watch, by the way. Apple, well, check this out. Don't tell Pastor Chris, he gets real petty. But my watch now has AI on it because that's what we do in Samsung. But the key is this. I don't care about the background of the race, right?
Apple.
I'm just saying, Apple doesn't really know what AI is yet. It's still trying to figure it out. It's just a lot of words in AI. It's like A-N-I. It's just too many words. Anyway, point is this. So the thing is that, the fact of the matter is that, sorry, Apple people, you really do. Your loyalty is what matters. Stick close to the people who saw you first. They see you.
Is that an iPad?
No, they see you. Yeah, but I have everything. Because you know what it is? I'm practicing empathy. See what I'm saying? I'm empathetic to some of y'all concerns. But my Samsung has AI. Anyway, but point is this. So
IA.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things that, pays bills, AI, all kind of stuff, just takes care of my health. Anyway, one of these days, Apple, you'll figure this out. But the point I'm trying to get back to that's more important than the shrinking of Apple and why they want to, because the stock just dropped, but that's not the point. Point is this, that entrepreneurs is not really meant for this judgmental undertone that we talk about. Anybody can be an entrepreneur, and some of you guys could be dogs. Let me say this real quick. Mashama, when he first started working with me, he was a dog. Mashama's a dangerous wolf now. Like, he's literally a cold-blooded wolf. But when he first started with me, he was like, man, I just want to support you, and I just want to make enough money to buy my shoes. I ain't trying to be rich or nothing like this. This was Mashama's early confession. Now, Mashama, I remember the first time we fired somebody together, I walked in, I sat down with the brother, I was like, hey, so man, we're going to have to, he goes, man, you know what it is. I was like, what? Who are you? Right? Like, he was like, he know what it is. Like, and he goes, can I talk about it? He goes, no, I don't need to talk about it. You know what it is. It's over. That was how Mashama fired him like he was the Corleone or something, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that he became a wolf. You can become a wolf. These processes we're telling you about, the exercises, she wasn't early a wolf. She was a hustler. Don't get me wrong. She found money where there was no money to be found. You're like, there's money in the desert? But the point is this, so she found money, but turning into a wolf is a practice. So I don't want you guys to think that wolves and dogs is a destination. It's just where you are. It has nothing to do with where you're going. So those of you at home who are like, well, maybe I'm a dog. Cool. But that means you're going to have to engage exercises to grow yourself and become an entrepreneur to the point that you raise your frequency. You're not sensitive. You're not worried about gossip anymore. You're not practicing low level thinking. You're not coping. You're not doing drugs, drinking. You're not doing these things that are like compromising yourself as an entrepreneur. You're a different animal. You're probably some of the highest values, highest integrity, highest moral animals if you're going to survive in this game. So with that being said, look, y'all have a good night. And once again, Court apologizes for all his profanity. He's working on himself. All right, have a good night.
So sorry.